The following is a world-class Bullshitters exclusive.
Good morning, pop culture. We are live. It is Wednesday, June 5th, 2019. It's 8:12 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, and it's time to rock. Good morning, pop culture is here. So, folks, last night we hosted the High Council here on World Class Bullshitters, and it got over 1,000 thumbs up or likes. So the smash button was meleeed, or melee button was smashed, and the muff button was licked, and now we're here. So, you know how to get us back on the air, so make that happen every time World Class Bullshitters hosts the High Council. Speaking of the High Council, last night was awesome. We celebrated Gary's 100,000 subscriber, so Gary's kicking ass. Nobody deserves it more than Gary. The guy's working all the time. Much respect for Gary and the Nerdrotic channel. We know that Star Wars girl is going to be next. She's in the high 90s. I think she's almost to 98,000. So if you're listening to this broadcast and you don't know about Anna, that Star Wars girl, she is not only part of the Fandom Menace and a friend, but a fantastic YouTuber who has really interesting stuff to say and pumps out a lot of content. And if you like dogs, she's got a cute dog, so there's that too. And then I guess up next would be like a Mecha Random 42 or a Doomcock. So the High Council, the Fandom Menace continues to get stronger each and every day, and I'd like to thank everybody that made it happen. So, yes, Ethan was not there last night. Nobody heard about anything. He just didn't show up, but I'm not mad. We had Gary. Gary kicks ass. Jeremy, Gary, and I have, amazing chemistry as well, so I'm sure Ethan will be back next week. We missed him, but, go back and listen to the episode after you listen to today's Good Morning Pop Culture. So, today we're going to be talking about a lot of stuff. So, the title is Rian Johnson, Troller Man Baby. So, we're going to talk about the Admiral Ackbar thing in a little greater detail. I don't know if I'll be making a video, so that's why I figure I'll cover it here. And today's podcast will be archived over on the Good Morning Pop Culture channel. So, for fans of this show, make sure that you guys are subscribed to the G.M.P.C. Good Morning Pop Culture channel so you never miss out when we go live. Because eventually, when I'm completely done with the book and back from Columbus, Good Morning Pop Culture will be semi-regular. I don't know exactly how many days of the week, but it'll be more than once every 3 weeks type of thing. So, I don't know if EVS got burnt out because of the 100 anti-Brie videos. I know I'm going to make a Brie Larson video for maybe Friday. I don't know. I got to look at my schedule, but it's funny how there's a challenge among the Fandom Menace creators. Oh, we got to make more Brie Larson stuff. Sure, why not? She's always doing something silly, so let's talk about her. Yes, Reality's Frank, I did get your message about the comics to the P.O. Box. Everybody who's mailed something to the P.O. Box, I guess since April, it's all, for the most part, it's all here. I got, stacks and stacks of boxes. I think some are comics from Reality's Frank. I got a giant one from this guy named Jason. There's all kinds of things that are in these boxes. I can't wait to do a live, not a live unboxing, but an unboxing for you guys. And we'll enjoy that. I'll have to break it down into many parts. I think I got enough P.O. Box stuff to do, 2 or 3 a month for the rest of the year. But I'll do a mega show. How's that? We'll do a mega episode, and then we'll be all caught up. It'll be a lot of fun, though. And I'll give Salvador and Reality's Frank their own special episodes since they've sent in multiple packages that have tons and tons of things on the inside, and I can't just, gloss through them, especially a Salvador box. There's letters, there's little pictures, there's all sorts of things that go into it, a lot of thought and care into the packages that are sent to the P.O. Box. And it's funny, I was actually cleaning in my office, and I found the Rose Tico fan art. So I enjoy all kinds of stuff that you guys send me. Yeah, I heard about Brie Larson wanting to play Ahsoka or being involved. I think it's just a big troll job. I could have called it Brie Larson, Hollywood Troll, or Heretic. That would have been a better title. The Heretic, I think, was the sequel to The Exorcist. The Heretic, The Exorcist 2. And it is terrible. You want to talk about unwatchable films, not just horror films, but films in general. The Exorcist 2. I think there's some kind of psychic link between Linda Blair and James Earl Jones is a cricket god, or it's as dumb as it sounds. Don't ever watch it. Can I think of movies better than it? Yeah, a lot. Most movies. It's Last Jedi stupid. It's Last Jedi bad. Gun to my head, I would still watch Heretic, Exorcist 2, or whatever. I did put out a full review for Avengers Endgame. Oh God, when the movie came out not last April, but 2 months or about a month ago in April, we covered it. We did a special episode dedicated to the film. I enjoyed the film. I gave it an 8 out of 10 at the time. I haven't seen it again, so I can't talk about certain things in more detail. But the more I think about it, the less I like the film. Does it mean it's a bad film? No. But the other day I watched The Avengers, the end battle, and that is an excellent end battle. 30 minutes long, full of action, suspense, drama, and it has a big payoff at the end. And Endgame, it's more emotional, and that's nice that it duped a lot of people. But for me, it has very little substance in terms of story. So this might be the end of the MCU for a lot of people. It'll be interesting to see what the turnout for Spider-Man Far From Home is. Would I like to see it fail? Not really. I mean, it is Spider-Man. A part of me is always excited to see a Spider-Man film, unless it's Andrew Garfield. But I don't think going forward, new additions to the MCU are going to be as exciting for a lot of fans, because a lot of people that went to see these movies weren't worried about the Marvel, like, oh, Marvel's building their roster of superheroes. It was like, oh, when's so-and-so going to team up with the Avengers? Like, the Avengers has become the brand, and people were thinking to themselves, when are the Guardians going to show up with the Avengers? When is Spider-Man going to meet the Avengers? Well, he met the Avengers in the first appearance, so that's a different story. But you get my drift. You catch my drift. With the Avengers, the good Avengers, the true Avengers effectively being dead, well, two of the founding members, the excitement level's a little down, because how fun was it when Robert Downey Jr. interacted with Star-Lord? I mean, that was some of the best banter of any superhero film, not just MCU, but anything. The part where he's like, about being from Earth, and he's like, from Missouri, Missouri is on Earth, dipshit, that's funny. The part with Spider-Man and Star-Lord, that is Footloose still the greatest movie ever made, it never was. All kinds of shit like that. I don't think any of these characters are as strong in terms of personality. Like, Thor is funny and fun. Hawkeye, no. Spider-Man, I don't know if they're going to make it too much. We'll find out and see. But personally, Endgame, good enough to watch again. I don't know if I'm excited to watch it, though, if that makes sense. Grand Inquisitor sent in a super chat. Thank you very much. First one of the morning. Jeff, loved the placement of the word flop on Kathleen Kennedy's shirt in your latest solo vid. Definitely not party boob material. WCBS forever. Party boob for life. Thank you, Grand Inquisitor. Party boob for life, for sure. When we do our t-shirts, there will be a party boob shirt. In the latest solo video, we did talk about Kathleen Kennedy and the flop. I'm trying not to... I ate breakfast for the first time in a while, so I really don't want to think about Kathleen Kennedy's flop. Because I don't want to puke on air. That'd be embarrassing. That would be embarrassing. Ugh. But I'm glad you guys checked it out. What do we have? The solo video Monday. We had the Christian Harloff video Tuesday. It's funny, the way YouTube's been working is the first day has been, okay on these videos. And then, the second day picks up. Especially with the Ron Howard solo video. That thing jumped up a lot yesterday. So, I'm excited. And if you're listening and you haven't checked it out, or you're listening to the streaming version of this show, World Class Bullshitters on YouTube, I almost said Patreon. And check out our videos. Let's see, what do we got in the chat? Shout out to Star Wars for Life, by the way. She moderated last night's High Council, did a fantastic job, and she's in the chat right now. So, folks, show some love to Star Wars for Life. MCU is dead to me. Yeah, Dr. Coffin Nails, I get the sentiment. I don't think it's being like angry nerd rage. It makes sense. The story's complete. It's over. There's no more. Go home. Oh, but guys, there's so many great characters that are left. No, Squirrel Girl's not a great character. But guys, what about Shang-Chi? Well, Shang-Chi could be cool. You just got to do it right. He has to be Asian, and that's fine. That's who he is. But let's make the movie good. Let's not try to have an Asian version of Black Panther in terms of narrative, what we're selling the audience. I'm all for people of any race or whatever being superheroes if you're adapting what exists. I don't need, like I was all for Monica Rambeau being Captain Marvel. Why not her? Well, we know why. Hypocrites in Hollywood. That's why. But the next wave of MCU flicks just don't excite me. There's a rumor rolling around. I'm actually going to make a video about it, so make sure you guys check that one out. But I'm looking into that, and the stuff that they're trying to build up, it just isn't that exciting. Like, I heard a rumor that the next Black Widow film is only going to have Scarlett Johansson in it partially. That would be a real bait and switch if we get this Black Widow movie and it's someone else in the role. And I don't mean like another person playing Natasha. I think there's another character that is called Black Widow. It's a rumor I've heard. I don't know anything beyond the rumor. But it annoys me because I like Scarlett Johansson. I always have since I was a little kid. From Home Alone 3 to an adult, I've always liked Scarlett Johansson. And she's older than me, so I'm not, making it weird. But her casting in Iron Man 2 is cool. I remember I was actually really excited for her. I bought a 7-Eleven slushie. What are they called? Slurpee. No, Slurpees are real. Squishies are the Simpsons. I bought it with her on it, and I kept that cup to this day because I thought she was so pretty in that movie. Still do. And, she did not disappoint once. At all. I have Black Widow. I don't know if I have any Black Widow toys, but I have a pin and something else. And she's cool. She's on the team. Same with Scarlet Witch. I like those ladies. And the bald woman from Black Panther is pretty cool too. But trying to make a Squirrel Girl and a Kamala Khan Miss Marvel movie, there's a reason why there's a pushback to the characters, and it's not because people are racist. It's because they're dumb characters. That'd be like if they made a Matter-Eating Boy movie in DC. He's this fat ball kid that eats shit and grows. That's dumb. So nobody wants that kind of crap. Let's see. Cinevareth653 says, saw Godzilla 4 times and I loved it. It reminds me of the old Godzilla movies, and as a fan, the fan service is spot on. I'm really excited for Godzilla vs. King Kong now. Cinevareth653, I'm not letting Jeremy's distaste in the film color my interest. I am very interested to see Godzilla. I can't believe I still want to... I'm going to say this, but I still kind of want to see X-Men as well, out of curiosity. But I'm actually excited for Godzilla. We've talked about Godzilla a little bit on the channel. I'm 30, so I would have been 9 when Godzilla 98 came out, so that prime age. And I remember all the stuff, the Taco Bell commercials, all that fun stuff. And I remember really wanting the toys. Because the summer, that's one thing that kind of has died down to a degree, and it bothers me. The summer movie toy lines that kind of came and went. You had your Independence Day toy line, Men in Black, Godzilla 98, Small Soldiers. You had all these ones that came out in full force, and then they were, gone in the blink of an eye type of thing. And I kind of miss that. I guess it's just me looking back nostalgically on it. But I did, at the time, enjoy the 98 Godzilla design. I saw the movie on video. I really didn't ever watch it again. I don't think I've ever seen the movie a second time. I just didn't like it. But I do still to this day enjoy classic Godzilla flicks. And I want to see this one. I like the design. I like the way Godzilla looks. I think he's a darker color now. CGI-wise, the film looks great. I'm looking forward to the storyline. I'm thinking I'll like the film. And I will definitely check it out. If I didn't have pages to draw today, I'd go see it after Good Morning Pop Culture, because that sounds like a fun way to spend a Wednesday. But, I have responsibilities. But I'll check it out eventually. I know Friday I got to be somewhere. Maybe Saturday. Maybe Saturday morning I think I can make some time to see it. Don't hold me to it, because I still got to make content for the channel. but I might be able to check it out, and I'll definitely report back in greater detail. Now, in regards to your comments about Godzilla vs. King Kong, yeah, I got goosebumps when I heard the Godzilla scream at the end of Kong Skull Island. I was like, yes! I remember Godzilla vs. King Kong, the original one. I wasn't born, obviously, but I saw it on tape as a kid, and it was okay. I didn't really, I don't remember too much of it. I just remember seeing it. But the idea of them doing it with modern technology, and some gravitas to it, I'm excited. I think the future of like big billion-dollar films are going to be bizarre, insane crossovers. Not just, all the Marvel superheroes are here, but like random shit, like a Godzilla versus a King Kong, or this is never gonna happen, like a Monster Squad versus Goonies type of thing. Just like two crazy franchises that come together, and just like people are like, what? And they make a great movie, and it just keeps that trend rolling. I know eventually it'll devolve into stupidity, like everything does. I mean, we had a lot of bad superhero movies come out. Oh, they're a team. They're building a shared universe. Well, you're still shit. But I think that'll be the next wave. And I think that's how you can make billion-dollar movies. You just do insane things that you never thought would happen in a million years. And out of sheer curiosity, you'll get butts in seats. So I hope I'm right, because that's something I'd love to see. In the chat, pitch me some of your craziest movie crossovers that you'd like to see. I'm trying to give something that could happen. I don't want to pick like a specific character that's like an Indiana Jones meets Captain America. That'd be fucking cool, and that could happen for legal reasons. That should happen. How cool would that be? Honestly, you de-age Harrison Ford. He's in World War II, and he's in, I don't know, some country looking for, obviously a relic, a MacGuffin, and it's in the middle of the war, and he gets involved, and there's Captain America. That would be crazy, dumb, but fun. If it's done right, I think a lot of people would dig it. A lot of love for Scarlett Johansson. Somebody called her a handsome woman. She's just a good-looking woman to me. I've always liked her. The Chewbacca fan 0824 the Virgin. Oh, that's a great name. I wonder where you got it from. What's this party boob nonsense? More toxic masculinity, no doubt, Jeff. You need a strong-willed girlfriend to run your life and tell you what to do. Yep, that's exactly what I need, Chewbacca fan 0824 the Virgin. Now, I will tell you, if you don't know the history of party boob, what it was, I think it was the Grand Inquisitor that just sent in a message that says, did you know that booby trap spelled backwards is party boob? It was on the podcast, and we all went, huh. And we kind of just sat there for a second, and it caught on. So party boob is our Avengers Assemble. So if you ever saw like well, there's only 4 of us, so it wouldn't take much assembling, but like if the world-class bullshitters were getting ready to get into battle, we would just scream, party boob, and boom, there we'd all be. I could just actually call out my window right now, and it'll get caught on the air, and party boobs will be everywhere. So there's Bjorn. He says, what did ruin No Johnson bork up now? Well, I wanted to talk a little bit about the Admiral Ackbar situation. So Tim Rose, I believe is his name, was at Star Wars Celebration, and he's like us. He understands that certain characters have legacy and have weight with the fans, and he questioned why you would not have Ackbar make the sacrifice. Why would you have this Holdo woman? Basically, he did nothing but make sense. And that's awesome. I like when I hear a celebrity voice something that I was thinking. Because I know a lot of times you think to yourself, oh, I didn't like this. And then all these people around you are like, well, I like it. And then somebody else is, you're like, oh, thank God I'm not insane. It's not about being agreed with. Sometimes you just question your sanity. Like, was I the only one? No. But Tim Rose has been talking about, how Admiral Ackbar has been disrespected and how Rian Johnson basically made a joke out of him in terms of it's a wrap instead of, the legacy that he built. And I was thinking about him, this Tim Rose guy and Anthony Daniels and these character actors that really only have one thing. Like, I know we love to think of Anthony Daniels as this whatever, but let's be honest, he's just C-3PO. That's all he's ever really done in his life, and that's fine. Talk about a career. A lot of sci-fi actors, a lot of the Star Trek crew, the only people out of the original Star Trek that I don't ever think became like typecast. William Shatner elevated himself, and Leonard Nimoy. He had a career directing movies. He had that show, not In Search Of. Maybe that was him. Or was that Carl Sagan? No. My point is those two guys, but Nichelle Nichols, Walter Koenig, DeForest Kelley, and Scotty, what's his name? Oh, God, James Doohan. Those guys and lady, that's all they had. They'd go to conventions. They'd do their thing. Oh, and, God, George Takei. How could I forget him? Oh, my. Same with Star Wars. Peter Mayhew, Anthony Daniels, Kenny Baker, David Prowse, Tim Rose. These people are really just one character, and they've built a career out of being that one character publicly. They know how to use the media, they know how to use conventions and interact with fans to, continue to be viable. And I get where he's coming from. That's the lens that I look at it through. I think Rian Johnson has the world's worst sense of humor. He thinks something's funny, other people don't. He has some power, and he kind of makes you do things. He bends you to his will, and the end result is just a terrible, terrible joke. So, with Star Wars and any kind of old property, when it's so big, it means so much to so many people on different levels. But there's, like I said, there's so many people out there, so you can never underestimate its importance. That's why the Phantom Menace is what it is, because Star Wars is this massive thing, and not everybody bought into the Disney hype, and we're very happy about that, very fortunate. But at the same time, Disney puts itself in a bad way, and they need to be mindful of that shit, because you can get the people that are into it because it's hot, like, the Marvel fans that got into it because of the MCU, and then we'll, pick and choose between movies. Now, I'm not saying you need to pay, solely focus or cater to, the old fans, and I mean, age-wise, or, you just don't need to, but you need to, have a happy balance, and Star Wars seems to have, the balance seems to be disrupted, and not in a good way. Scottskio2 says, why not both? Well, why not both? Will I be going to San Diego Comic-Con? I will not. I don't have tickets. If I had tickets, I could make it happen. I can get there. That's not the issue. But I just don't have tickets. I don't know how to get them. Okay, Leonard Nimoy did host In Search Of. All right, so I wasn't crazy. Best Star Trek was City on the Edge of Tomorrow. That's a good episode. That's a great episode. When I was earlier in the production of the book, I had Star Trek on in the background when I would draw. Every night I would sit down, and when I would ink, I would just put Star Trek on and listen. I think I made it through 2 seasons. 3. I've seen every episode of that show. It's not like it's a new thing for me. I used to watch Star Trek on the Sci-Fi Channel as a kid, when it had the little logo of the, was it Saturn? And the old Sci-Fi logo was pretty cool. 90s TV was pretty cool. And I don't think it's just me looking back nostalgically. I've gone back and watched a lot of stuff, like old bumpers, commercials. Things were just more creative and unique. And now today commercials are just essentially stock footage with whoever wants to slap their logo on it. The characters are interchangeable. Like, with the exception of Flo from Progressive and the Geico Gecko, which has been around for, 20 years at this point, I can't think of many other commercial icons. Growing up, we had Wendy the Snapple Lady. There was Clara Peller, Where's the Beef? There was the Dunkin' Donuts guy, the spicy meatball guy, John, what's his face, the fast talker for Matchbox Cars. Not Matchbox Cars. Yeah, Matchbox, no. The small ones. Micro Machines, that's what it is. So, yeah, we had those things. And today it's just like, oh, we'll get a spokesperson, Jamie Lee Curtis, but then the other Activia ads are just like middle-aged ladies that have poop problems. I'm not saying everything needs to have a character, but some things do. Because, there's a reason people can go on YouTube and watch 20-hour compilations of 90s commercials. You'll see toy commercials, you'll see game commercials. There was just something better about advertising. And I think that is also why I studied advertising in college. For 3 years at Michigan State, 3 years and 1 semester, so just a semester shy before I had to transfer due to financial reasons. I liked advertising a lot. I find it fun. Yeah, the psychology behind it at times as well, just psychology. But the creative aspects of it, man, some of the best stuff. And, we don't have that anymore. See, Walter Koenig was great as Bester in Babylon 5. I have never seen that show. I need to catch up. I will definitely add that to my list of things to watch. After Lord of the Rings, after The Expanse, after Jordan Peele's Twilight Zone. Actually, Jordan Peele's Twilight Zone is going to be next. So. Micro Machine. Okay, cool. So, yeah. Remember Alf? You put the poor... Yeah, I remember Alf. Kendo is a huge Alf fan. If you guys ever want to surprise Kendo, send Alf stuff to the P.O. box, and that'll go directly to him. Remember the Esurance mascot that they dropped because of all the porn? I don't, Alpha Terra Nemo. Esurance mascot. I don't remember any of that stuff. Oh, here's a great one. Jeff, Nightmare at 20,000 feet. Shatner or Lithgow? Oh. Well, let me answer your question with a question, and then I'll give you the answer you want. Have you ever watched Third Rock from the Sun? Have you ever seen the episode where they pick up the big giant head at the airport, and Shatner is drunk off his ass, he's the big giant head, and he's like, my flight was great, but there was this thing on the wing. And then Lithgow looks at him and goes, that same thing happened to me. That is the best meta joke of any sitcom ever. I'll stand by that. Show me a better one, I'll show you that one. To answer your question directly, though, Shatner. All the time. That is directed, the episode Nightmare at 20,000 Feet is directed by Richard Donner. William Shatner does a great job in it. It has great tension. I've noticed something, and I've probably discussed this before, at least on the regular podcast. I like claustrophobic movies, and yes, I did air quotes. What I mean is things that take place in a small space over a short period of time, and the story's very intense. I'm not necessarily the kind of sprawling epic guy. No shade at Lord of the Rings Throne, but I don't know how long those movies take place over. They go over a great distance. Some of my favorite things are just, like Beverly Hills Cop takes place over a weekend, if that. I mean, if I sat down, I think the movie starts on a Tuesday. My point is, he's in Beverly Hills for a night and like a day. So, there's just something about that. But Nightmare at 20,000 Feet, and a lot of Twilight Zone, just Twilight Zone in general, it presents a big story in a small setting over 28 minutes or whatever it would be with commercials. And I absolutely love that stuff. The Twilight Zone movie, it's hit and miss with me. I'm trying to say something positive about the movie. It's sad what happened to our friend, Vic Morrow. My brain just, I had a brain fart for a moment. That's sad. I don't think The Twilight Zone is the best anthology film, or even that great of an anthology film. It's an okay movie. It's very disjointed. Something like a Creepshow. I'd argue Creepshow is the best anthology flick. Creepshow, Cat's Eye. Oh, God, I need a list of them right in front of me to give you a more definitive one. But, I own Creepshow on multiple formats. I think it is a fantastic movie. It is what happens when you get the best of your genre to make a movie. And if you haven't seen Creepshow, folks, I strongly recommend it. Highly recommend it. That would be a top 10 horror film for sure. Maybe number 3. I gotta see what my number 2 would be, but Halloween's definitely number 1. I remember Reboot K-Mac. I used to watch that every day at 5 o'clock before Dragon Ball Z. Michael Roth, thank you very much. Jared from Subway might have scared advertisers off from tying themselves closely to a specific person. You know what? That's a very valid point right there, Michael. I haven't thought of that. I try to push Jared Fogle out of my mind because of what he did. It's gross. It's just nasty. No joke to be made. It's fucking gross. So I guess that's the best answer you could, a point that I would agree with. I still do like mascots and characters, but a brand has to take those things into account. And I get it. I get it 100%. So thank you, Michael. I just remember, it's weird too. I looked at Austin Powers' Goldmember, just a couple scenes, and they talk about Jared from Subway. I did the diet and all this shit, and I'm thinking to myself, oh, this makes that movie not age very well. Not Austin Powers' fault. I mean, I don't think Goldmember is a very good film. Anyway, but it's I don't know. It's an odd thing to watch. But thank you, Michael. Thank you very much. Saint Jeff the Pious. Dawn of the Dead is Edward Hoag's favorite horror movie. Dawn of the Dead's fantastic. That might be... Is that my favorite zombie flick? Now we're talking the original, obviously. I don't know. It's so great to have these thoughts because it means there's so many good things out there. Oh, earlier somebody wanted me to talk about. Somebody mentioned Joe Bob Briggs. Yes, Monster Vision. I remember that on TNT. I'm watching Joe Bob Briggs currently on Shudder. I like that guy. That is, we can make fun about like how they're trying to pull at your heartstrings for Star Wars, but they do nostalgia badly. Joe Bob Briggs does it right. It was so popular, it crashed the streaming service. So if you're out there wondering, who's Joe Bob Briggs? Joe Bob Briggs was a late-night horror talk show host. He was like a male Elvira. Look, Elvira's hot, but Joe Bob Briggs was better in every regard except the looks. Elvira's jokes are shitty, or they're campy. Her movie is garbage. But Joe Bob Briggs was fun, insightful, and you learned a lot about movies that you may have never seen before. And so he was doing his thing in the 70s, 80s. I believe he did it before he did the Monster Vision stuff somewhere else. And he was on Monster Vision for years in the 90s. He would do kill counts, boob counts, all these fun things. I would love to do something like that here on this channel. But he came back. And so many people were excited by the prospect of Joe Bob Briggs coming back that that the streaming service just got overloaded. And he had to come back. It was so popular that this company, Shudder, owned by AMC, has decided to bring him back regularly. And I think he's done 2 more streams since his initial one. So, it's cool seeing stuff like that come back. I love a good comeback story where the premise of the story isn't to build up the next generation or to modify history to be more appealing. It's to show that the old ways sometimes still work and that these guys still got it. So, shout out to Joe Bob Briggs. Love him. That came from Samus Aran. Shout out to our friend Justin B6699, probably our longest regular listener and supporter. Dude has been awesome. He's been there. He was our second patron. He's been around like over 2 years, I believe, at this point. Before our Star Wars stuff, he was listening to the podcast. He's been invested, so shout out to him. I see him in the chat. Move the Expanse up the list. It's fucking great, says Busy Bedico. Yes, I want to. I want to watch good sci-fi. Sometimes I get pulled into shit like Black Mirror, the Americanized version, because Black Mirror, when it initially launched, was amazing. It was incredible. But then we get to like the Netflix purchased versions, and they're shitty. Claustoric. Oh wait, hold on. Dr. Coffinail sent in a super chat. Thank you very much, Dr. Coffinails. Dr. Coffinail says, Jeff, see Shatner's episode of Thriller, especially The Reaper. If you like Twilight Zone, you'll like these. Well, Dr. Coffinails, you are getting a screenshot of your super chat because you are speaking my language. First off, I like William Shatner. Secondly, I like shows like The Twilight Zone. And I want to watch more scary anthology shows. It's funny, a show like The Twilight Zone can be political, but it's hidden under the guise of science fiction, and it's so well done, and we still go back and look at it today. Who are the great sci-fi writers of today? Who are the great writers of today? You hear a lot about young adult writers or kids writers and stuff like that, but, I mean, I guess James Patterson's still doing his thing, but, you had like a Ray Bradbury. That's one of the few authors that I sit and go, oh man, I really like Ray Bradbury. I may say I like James Bond books. I wouldn't call myself an Ian Fleming fanatic, but I like Ray Bradbury books. There's something about that guy's work. We had to read it in school as a kid, and I hated it because, forced into reading. But as an adult, I can't get enough of it. But I definitely will watch those episodes, Dr. Coffinails. By the way, I was getting my office together, and right here I have Yo-Yo the Dieting Clown. All the issues are sitting above the Best of Shazam and Tales of the New Gods, so... let's see. Tales from the Crypt TV series. Love that show as a kid. Well, Thundercats Ho. I love that show as an adult. I still watch it. I actually listened to a podcast called Good Evening Kitties. It's solely about Tales from the Crypt, the TV show. And HBO, if you'd like a couple hundred of my dollars, I strongly suggest and advocate that you release Tales from the Crypt on Blu-ray or 4K. Like, just remaster the episodes. Tales from the Crypt is very important in terms of HBO, cable shows, anthology stuff, and I want to see that make a comeback. Anthology shows are fun. Let's have some fun. Claustoric says, good morning, Jeff. My fiance has me watching Voyager, and Seven has caught my eye. Which Star Trek lady catches your fancy? This is an interesting question, and I will answer this. I like it. Well, Claustoric, I like the ladies from the 60s Star Trek show. It's funny you asked this question, because I was watching the show as I inked the comic, and I thought to myself, man, a lot of these women on Star Trek were just really, really good looking. So there's a lot of them. Uhura had a really good body. I could say her. That wouldn't be a bad option. Probably some of the ones from the 60s in general. A lot of the incidental characters that just popped up and left the next episode. I think a lot of those women were very good looking. They caught my eye. Excuse me, I have a summer cold, which absolutely sucks. It's like the cold that never leaves. But 7 of 9, that's what Jerry Ryan. I remember her very well. Good-looking woman. I think she fought The Rock in an episode of Star Trek. Or is that Deep Space Nine? Hold on. I don't want to be going on about one character. And, let's see, Star Trek, Voyager. Is that her? Yeah, it's 7 of 9. Okay, yeah. Commander Janeway or Captain Janeway or whatever her name is. She was fine. It's funny. We had female captains, black captains, and I don't remember anyone going on about anything. It's just that's Star Trek. And people on the other side of the argument will go, well, it's people are reactionary to whatever. It's like, no, you guys are pushing back and making it shitty and making a big deal. We've evolved as a society. Black Nick Fury wasn't a big deal. Why? Because he was black in the Ultimate comic books first. I mean, and Samuel L. Jackson's the coolest motherfucker. I Am Become Death Destroyer of Worlds gets a shout out for asking where his cake was on Father's Day. He gets the reference. And McDastardly, The Thing. I love The Thing, but I consider The Thing sci-fi. I know people say, oh, it's horror. It's this, it's that. Hey, to each his own. But personally, when I think of The Thing, I think of sci-fi. And, oh God. Do we count Back to the Future as sci-fi? I consider it like a comedy, but if Back to the Future is a sci-fi and we count Star Wars, those movies are going to be above The Thing. But The Thing's really, really high up there. Love The Thing. I actually showed my friends all the kill scenes the other day on YouTube, and they were blown away. They were blown away. So thank you, though, Claustoric. Let's see where we at. Markel Kia, thank you very much. Hashtag Kia 2020. Markel Dia for mayor of Baltimore's blood, sweat, and tears. If I was a member or a citizen of Baltimore, I'd vote for you. Let's see. We had a $1 super chat from Jeff the Iron Wolf. Thank you very much, Jeff the Iron Wolf. Mr. V says, good morning, Muff Daddy. Well, good morning to you, Mr. V. I'm glad you're joining us here on today's episode of Good Morning Pop Culture. And as I said, folks, this will be archived over on the Good Morning Pop Culture channel, and the audio version will be streaming soon. We had a lot of requests. One of our patrons asked, and I listened. So if you're out there listening, your name escapes my mind right now. I hope you enjoy this morning's show as you're driving. I'll check out Altered Carbon, Jeff the Iron Wolf. I'm open to watching these things. I can listen to them as I draw, so that's really not a problem. But to sit down and watch will be hard. Let's see. Markel Kia says, I need a good editor, $40 per assignment. Please contact mkia at bal.yearup.org for more details. Markel, if you're looking for like a comic book editor or a creative editor, there's a couple Facebook pages. I think there's it's one called like Independent Comic Creators Unite or something like that. I know a lot of people over there could help you out. I'm trying to think to give you more advice. I really, Facebook, to get into these communities of other creators, you'll be surprised. Like I had joined a comic book colorist Facebook page years ago, just wanting to look, because I was going to try to learn how to color comic books, my own stuff. And I never got around to learning it, but because I was in that group, I was able to find, the people that initially colored Stealing Solo and the people that are finishing the book. So just get involved in those communities. That's the best piece of advice I can give you. Licardo Guira says, don't ask for an anthology series in current day. They'll Jordan Peele it. That's as offensive as saying I Ryan Johnson did. Oh. Look at Licardo. I agree with you. They will Jordan Peele it. Is it because people are dumber today? Look, it could be me that I'm talking about, or it could be somebody else. But there's going to be somebody that comes out and starts writing stuff, and it's going to tap into the audience, and they're going to elevate, or they're going to rise above. And I'll say it's me. Fuck it. I got ideas. I got more ideas than you guys realize. Stealing Solo is just the first comic. Our next one will be Woke Busters. And, I got a ton of ideas, a ton of things, and I'm going to basically make fun of the current political and social climate that we're in. It's not going to be overtly political entertainment. Like, Stealing Solo has none whatsoever. It is comedy at its purest form. Like, when the book gets shipped out and people start getting their copies, we'll do a live stream about the book for fun. But until then, I can't really talk about specifics because I don't want to ruin it for the people that backed it. But I have ideas for something a little more in depth. Like Woke Busters will be a lens into that, and then we'll eventually, evolve that. But I think there could be a great anthology series if we go for fun instead of, trying to be as thought-provoking as Rod Serling. Not everyone's going to be Rod Serling, and if you're going to try to be like Rod Serling, well, make sure that you study Rod Serling. You don't just get the license of the Twilight Zone and hide behind that, because that kind of stuff pisses me off. Am I interested in the new Shaft? Maybe. I like the idea of, I think it's Richard Roundtree still in it, and I know Samuel L. Jackson's in it, and then there's a new version. I love the original Shaft. I like the 2000 Shaft. Guilty pleasure. I'm willing to give it a shot. I might go check that out over the summer or whenever it opens. Yes, Chase, I always follow up on our 1K promise from Good Morning Pop Culture. Unless you missed last time, which these get archived on another channel, we always do the 1,000 to the Good Morning Pop Culture the next morning. Let's see where we were at. Liquor Jim, thank you, Liquor Jim. Good Morning Pop Culture. Can we get Stealing Solo hype in the Super Chats? Also, back Earthworm Jim on Indiegogo if you haven't. There's more to talk about Stealing Solo in the near future, so there will be plenty of hype. It's not dead yet. No, Liquor Jim, thank you very much. Yes, folks, be excited. I've shown, if you haven't been following, if you backed it and you didn't follow us on Indiegogo, I've shared probably 20-something pages of the story. They're all on Twitter if you want to go back and look at the artwork. It's there. And like I said, I'm at a point where I can't show certain elements because I don't want to ruin the surprise, but trust me, it's going to be worth it, and it'll be there soon. Like I said, I posted the update. June, I'll be all done with everything. We're on the 5th of June. I'm going to get off of this live stream this morning, and I'm going to get the next pages done. And but it, like I said, you'll be hearing about it. I got something so big planned later on that you guys are going to get excited for it, and you're going to be pumped. They'll never ruin Back to the Future until Bob Zemeckis and Bob Gale are dead, because those guys have gone on record. No remakes, no reboots, no part 4s. Gerard Weaver, thank you very much. Stealing Cyberfrog. Narco Ethan sleeps through the High Council, so Jeff and Jeremy break into Ethan's house and kidnap Cyberfrog. I love it. I love it. I would make that with the guys. I still want to do a High Council comic. I think that could be insane. I know Ethan will be busy with Rainbow Brute, but I could commit. I could put like one of our projects on the back burner to do a High Council comic book, where Ethan, Jeremy, and myself fight the Jer Army versus the army of NPCs or something. And with Ethan's connections, we could get an amazing inker and colorist, and we could really make that happen. So just keep following all the Indiegogo projects we have, guys, because they're going to be unique and worth your time, and better than anything you can get in stores. And by the way, one more thing about mine. I did a page count, and it's no longer just a comic. It'll be like a graphic novel, like a full-sized book. So if you backed it at the $20 level, you will get a book that is worth $20 in size, content, everything. No corners were cut making this book. So get excited. I know I keep telling you guys it's coming. It is. I'm drawing the last couple pages of the climax, and that's it. Good morning to Noir24. Let's see where we're at. Marcel2099 says, just watched Disney shill video. Great call out. 100% and totally agree on Black Mirror. Completely regressed and going downhill. Shameless SJW pander. Well, first off, Marcel2099, cool screen name, and thank you for watching the Disney shill video. I'm glad that you guys liked the new format. like I said last time in the High Council, for me to do so if you enjoyed the Christian Harloff Disney Shill video yesterday, I can produce videos faster if I go that route, meaning my little illustration of me, which by the way is from the comic. I drew it myself, so why not take it and repurpose it? But my little illustration of me and an HD background, and then talk about stuff and put in clips that way. That is actually faster than the old process. Now, for those who are like, oh, I love the quality of the old videos. If you notice, the writing and the recording, same exact process. Same amount of time in the script, everything. I didn't, just come up with a prompt and just start talking. I put the same amount of time and effort on that part of the videos and the title cards and all that stuff. But to get this story out, because it was very topical, I did it early. Or I did it this way. So if you guys enjoyed that, and let me know by continuing to watch that video, I can do more stuff and give you guys more content, and everybody wins. Because the old way, I'd have to, sit and reread the script after the audio's done and pick images, search them, look for the right size, time, this, that, and other. It just took a long time. But this way, was quicker. Marcel, I'm glad I'm not the only one who feels that way about Black Mirror. I really was into it. And the episodes that I hate are the Netflix ones. And it's nothing to do with, okay, so in the Twilight Zone or any anthology series, it's like the bad guy usually gets his comeuppance. It's a moral story. Or sometimes even not necessarily the bad guy, but there's someone gets their comeuppance. With the Black Mirror ones, that woman in the Star Trek spoof, she was the villain to me. Not the game guy. So I think it would have been better had they been trapped in the story instead of escaping and given the happy ending that it was. Fuck that show. Fuck that episode. Let's see. Where was Pablo Hidalgo during all this time? Oh, that's right. Who cares? Let's see where we at. Super chat. Club Star Wars says, is there any hope for Star Wars? If so, what? Let's see. Is there any hope for Star Wars? For me, at least, and a lot of fandom menacers, the best thing to happen would be for Disney to just get their episode 9, use the time between 9 and whatever comes out in 2022, not to let the brand essentially die and then come back, but to mend the wounds. Pump out good books, a couple great video games, keep the toy line progressing. I will give Hasbro this. Hasbro operates very independently from Disney Lucasfilm in many ways. Yes, they're beholden to the license and they have to do what they have to do, but at the same time, I was sent a Han Solo and Stormtrooper gear with the new printed face, and it's a fantastic toy. Some of the Black Series stuff. So the hope I have, Club Star Wars, would be for good merchandise and stuff to make us realize why the old stuff is great and keep us around. Once Disney's licensing thing is over with TNT, maybe put out the original trilogy on Blu-ray, build that fan base, maybe take the special editions, clean those up again, have 5 cuts of Star Wars, put that out like Blade Runner, and everybody's a winner. So, do something like that. Do I think we'll ever get a Blu-ray series or a Blu-ray version of the 90s Spider-Man show? I would hope so, but my guess is that Disney Plus is just going to take the 480p version and stream it like it was on Netflix. If they go back and remaster that show, I will eat my hat and apologize, because that's a great show. But I don't foresee that ever happening, Jonathan. But I would love to do that. Any word on Subscribestar? Oh, yeah, I got to do that. If I ever forget to do something, it's not that I intentionally don't do it. I just forget. The guys help me on the podcast, but a lot of the behind-the-scenes stuff is just me. And between making videos and always trying to write stuff for the channel and taking care of myself and getting my shit together for this t-shirt business, it takes a while because it's just me. But in terms of the shipping of the book, I actually have a system. And I'll be live streaming us shipping out the books because I got people helping me. We'll be able to get every book shipped out and ready in a few hours because I got that many people getting involved. So, I do need to get on that one, Gerhardt. I will This week's not the best week for me to try to launch it, but I will look into it. Just remind me again. That's all you got to do. Just remind me again. If there's certain things I say I want to do or I'm going to do and I forget to, just remind me. I don't take it as a nag. I appreciate you reminding me. Gary should be a permanent member of the High Council. I agree. I fucking love Gary of Nerdrotic. That dude, even before he was ever on one of our videos or, a live stream, I like his stuff. I like his style. He knows his shit. He's a lot of fun. We'll see what his schedule's like. Remember, he's out west. He's in California, so that would be a 6 p.m. commitment. That's dinner time. If it would work for him, Gary is always welcomed on the channel. And if there's anything I can do to help Gary back in return, I will gladly do the same. We'll talk to him. Gary's cool. I have nothing but positive things to say about the dude. My voice reminds you of Biff from Back to the Future. Well, thank you. I love Biff. He's the true hero. Bloodhead. Thank you, Benjamin Plummer. You have patience. No worries. Well, thank you, guys. Like I said, the first delay was out of my control, and I'm just, fixing it. But thank you. Mr. V. Let's see. I watched Chernobyl yesterday. It's amazing. It's an amazing piece of work. I'd give it a 9.5 out of 10. But be warned, it's not exactly a knee slapper. Mr. V, I'm glad you brought this up. Like I said last night on the High Council, I've been listening to the podcast from HBO about Chernobyl, which I have enjoyed thoroughly. It's a fantastic podcast. I love it. It goes into the details. It goes into the why they make the creative choices, and it goes into the history of Chernobyl. I have an odd, I don't want to say fascination, but an odd interest in the Chernobyl meltdown. Not because I like the blood and guts and stuff, but I'm more interested in how, in the Soviet Union, they try to cover up such things, an atrocity. How, that couldn't happen today. Well, they cut the phone lines in the show. They could oh my God, with the internet, I guess you could cut off all telecommunications quicker. There would be just other things that could happen. No, I don't think you could ever get away with something like that in these days. And you shouldn't. It was a terrible thing. And I laugh at the lady on Twitter that talks about we need people of color on Chernobyl. No, it's meant to look realistic. And, sorry, lady, this is just not your show. Not your show. But I will watch it eventually. Like I said, I just got access to The Twilight Zone. Chernobyl's on my list. Cobra Kai Season 2. Those sorts of shows. I will, they're miniseries. I can commit to a miniseries. I can sit down on a Saturday morning, catch a couple episodes, get some work done, come back Saturday night, finish it out. I can do that kind of stuff, but I couldn't do like 15 seasons of Supernatural like Gary talked about last night. Let's see. Star Wars for Life. Thank you very much for your super chat. What do you think of the new Batman role casting? Well, Star Wars for Life. I understand why people tell me I need to give him a chance. I see where that argument comes from. But at the same time, I also understand why people are pissed off. Me, I don't like Robert Pattinson. Have I seen him in a lot of stuff? No. I think he was in some Elephant movie I saw and that 9/11 movie. Prove me wrong. I want to have a great time with Batman, but I think he's too feminine looking to buy into the role. And there's just something to be said about the previous, even Michael Keaton, who was little in comparison. There was just something about him that was perfect. The voice. I think he still has the best Batman voice, because Christian Bale's like, the trigger, blah, blah, blah. All that shit. I mean, I can joke about it. Everybody's made that joke. But Michael Keaton's voice was like a soft whisper. It was intense. It was scary. I'm Batman type of thing. And he was great. Val Kilmer, I like Val Kilmer. Val Kilmer was the Batman I probably watched the most as a kid. I watched Batman Forever all the fucking time. Not only did I watch it because I liked it, I watched it because I have the Batmobile toy, the Bat Cave, the Batman figure, and the Robin figure from the film. So, I mean, I kind of bought in pretty heavy to Batman Forever. In terms of, though, Robert Pattinson, the only positive I can say out of this is that Warner Brothers and Matt Reeves have to work extra hard on this film because they cannot get away. They can't rest on their laurels, to use an old phrase. But they can't get away with anything less than stellar in every aspect, meaning they have to have a phenomenal script. They have to have great villain casting, great world casting. They have to have a fantastic bat suit, Batmobile, all these things. You cannot get away with crazy ideas and bank on, oh, well, people will come to see Ben Affleck. It's Ben Affleck. He's done all these things. Robert Pattinson, I don't care if he's been in 1,000 movies post-Twilight. The motherfucker is the shiny vampire. You have something to prove. Yes, the Planet of the Apes trilogy was great. But not it. Look it. Looper was a decent movie. Last Jedi is a piece of shit. Bad directors can make great films, and great directors can make bad films. So the Batman trilogy from Matt Reeves is probably the most... will be the most watched and scrutinized over superhero trilogy in a decade. I love Batman. He is my second favorite comic book character, only to Spider-Man, but I like Batman more than I like every other Marvel character. He holds a very special place in my heart. So we'll see in, 2 or 3 years? I'm looking forward to it. To the film, not necessarily Batman's casting. But Star Wars for Life, thank you very much for the super chat, and thank you for helping out. I see your hard work in moderating the chat, so I'd like to thank you. Nova Zero says, EU was Star Wars. Not the individual bits of lore, but the love letters written by fan writers involved. So, hearing about Old Republic? Yeah. Not interested in that at all. I'm concerned. I've been picking up expanded universe novels. I've mentioned that a couple times on live shows. So, I know they're not everybody's cups of tea, but I got, right here, Showdown at Centerpoint, which is, Chapter 3 of the Carillion trilogy. I love that kind of Star Wars stuff. I wish Disney wouldn't have gotten rid of it, but here's the thing. It would have been not okay, but it would have been different if they got rid of it and then did something better in its place. There's a little video rolling around Twitter of somebody cleaning out their garage and just pitching out the old Disney Star Wars books, including our friend Chucky Wendig's books. And that... I don't know. I don't want to sound like an old man get off my lawn, but I'm not old. But it used to be better. Just seriously, it was always better. It's worse. Technology has gotten better. Food has gotten better for the most part. Not, a lot of synthetic crap, but that's a topic for another day. Beer choices have gotten better. Entertainment options, the variety has grown. But, Star Wars stuff has dropped. And it's all by choice. That's why I get mad. On the High Council last night, I wasn't, asking Jeremy and Gary why to keep the show going. I was asking why people make these decisions, because it's not an organic thing. Star Wars used to have this natural hype around it, and you would get excited. You would think about it. I remember I used to quiz myself. I had this book called Star Wars, the Star Wars Scrapbook. I think it was Mark Cotta-Vaz wrote it. I had 2 editions of the fucking thing. It was the same book, essentially, with just different covers. But I used to read that book and quiz it, a DL-44 blaster and this and that, and I was so invested in it. Part of it because it was new, but I had that same excitement at, what was I, 8 years old? I had that excitement at 20 years old when Clone Wars was out, and I was hanging out in college with Dion and Dustin and our friend Garrett, who came up to visit Star Wars Celebration because he was in Chicago, and we would sit and talk about Star Wars. And when I had my one girlfriend in college and I was over her apartment, Dustin brought me this giant Millennium Falcon as a gift, and I was so excited. I had that excitement as an adult. Disney ruined it. Disney ruined it. I've never heard of the Expanse books, Boris. I'm a bad sci-fi fan. I want to. I think look, I'm going to read these Star Wars books, but the next sci-fi I'm going to commit to will be Ray Bradbury. I have all these Audible credits, a stupid amount of Audible credits, and I'm just going to... use those on that. So let's see. Batman better not sparkle. I'll be pissed. Hello, Darth Durkle, the wise ass. Welcome. Thundercat says about wanting to see a Batman's Elseworld comic, where he starts as an SJW but transfers into Batman we know and love. I'd like that as a good laugh. I don't know why companies don't just say forget the SJW people, because they're not buying your books. Like, who are you virtually signaling to? I actually make that, like, you ever see that meme of that black girl with her hand up, like, what? I make that face when I think about, like, why these comic companies do what they do. It makes no fucking sense. I don't care who buys my product. I don't care who watches the show. I'm very thankful for everybody. If you're rich, if you're poor, if you're black, if you're white, gay, straight, I don't care. You live your life. I'm thankful that you back us and watch us. I don't know why Marvel doesn't feel the same way. Like, why would you care if it's 60-year-old white dudes buying Spider-Man and you're selling 400,000 copies? Or, oh, we want to target the younger audience. We sell 65,000 copies to a specific... Like, who gives a shit? Oh, we're building up the next generation. No, the fuck you're not. Because this generation of people, and it's everything. It's not just Marvel and Disney stuff. All entertainment is disposable because everything comes out so fast. Even if we go back 20 years... you still had time between big events. You had your Star Wars movie, which was the only guaranteed event of 99, and then you had Toy Story come out towards the end of the year. You had time to sit and think, to get invested in the world. But the way movies work now, it's like, well, 1 weekend's Avengers, then 2 weeks later it's Pikachu, then after that it's John Wick, then it's Godzilla, then it's Aladdin, then it's this, then it's that. No movie comes out and really, permeates popular culture for long periods of time because the competition's always there, and that's why we'll never get some of this stuff to stick around. So, sorry, I'll get off my soapbox for a minute. Grand Inquisitor, thank you very much. Jeff, you need to start the Thrawn trilogy. I own those books. That is why I didn't buy those books. I have all of them in hardback, so I will read them. I have them on my shelf. They're behind my row of random DVDs and SSX Tricky on the GameCube. Trip Fontaine, cool name. That's how I was with the 89 Batman. All the toys, had a pretty decent costume for Halloween the following 3 years of Keaton, Batman, etc. That would have been me, but I was 6 months old when Batman 89 came out. But the first toy line I remember, I know I had Pee Wee Herman, and I know I had Thomas the Tank Engine, but I also had Batman, the Dark Knight collection from Kenner. There's a Batman 89 toy line from Toy Biz, which sucks. Our friend Logan Michael sent me a Batman figure. The figure line consisted of 3 people, Batman, the Joker, and Bob the Goon, who could do like a karate kicking action. You had a very shitty Batcave, you had a convertible Batmobile, and I think there was a Batman motorcycle, and maybe a Joker headquarters, and that's about it. But Kenner got involved. They started doing the multiple costumes for Batman, but the sculpt on this figure was amazing. It was just a much better toy line. And I would have been invested in it that way if I was older. I was 7. I was 6 when the movie came out, 7 when I first saw Batman Forever, and I think that's a great age to be a superhero fan. Plus, I know people say, well, my Batman's Adam West or this and that. I think I have to say my Batman is Kevin Conroy, drawn in the Bruce Timm style. The high-adventure, swashbuckling Batman where he could one episode be on the docks of Gotham City, then he could be in the desert, then he could be wherever. That's the Batman I want to see in film. And Star Wars for Life, my favorite horror film is the original Halloween, 1978, John Carpenter. You'll laugh, but every once in a while, when I'm finishing up the bike at the gym, to get through the last 30 minutes, I will watch the endings to my favorite movie. And if I watch Halloween, I have to watch that one at the end because the chill of oh man, he gets shot out the window, and then Donald Pleasant's character, Dr. Sam Loomis, looks out and he's gone, and he looks up and he's shocked at first, and then he cut back to him. He's like, I knew what had happened, and you get that great shot of. You get the music that starts to play, and you get the shots of everywhere Michael Myers has been that night, and you hear the breathing underneath the mask, and then it goes back to his house where it all started, and then it says Halloween. That's probably the number one reason why I like that movie so fucking much. That ending is perfection. I love slashers. They're fun. They're stupid. The Friday the 13th movies have very little artistic value outside of, crap. But I enjoy them. Halloween, I respect. Halloween can be discussed in the same way that a Psycho can be discussed. There's so much going on in that film. And it's a testament to John Carpenter's mastery at such an early age in his career and with such limited resources. So that is my favorite horror flick, and it will always be my favorite horror flick. Huge fan of it. Trevor RN says, they lost me after killing Chewbacca. Rage quit. Trevor, I remember I was in high school, so it would have been my freshman year, and I think I was a freshman in high school, and I know for sure that I rented the New Jedi Order on CD from the library, and I got to that part, and I also stopped listening, and I don't think I've ever completely read a Star Wars book since 2003 because of that. It bothered me that Chewbacca died. I think it was Han's kid that could have saved him, but didn't open the cargo bay in time or some shit like that. You get attached to these characters, man. But when somehow Disney, within the course of 2 hours, made me not care about Han Solo's death. If you would have killed off Han in a book when I was in high school, I'd be like, no! At 27? I was like, whatever, fuck it. He's gone. He's gone. But Trevor, I feel you, man. I feel you. Alt Munoz, what's up, man? Jeff, you see the reviews for Dark Phoenix yet? Yikes. I did. Jeremy Jahns gave it a dog shit. A lot of people are ripping it apart. It has a 16% on Rotten Tomatoes. I am smiling, I hope you can hear that in my voice, as I talk to you, because it makes me laugh that, look, I love the X-Men in the 80s comics. And I love the designs and the 90s cartoon and the toys. Like, I'll buy X-Men figures based off characters I don't even give a shit about. Just because it says X-Men on it, it makes me feel like I'm a kid again. We're getting into that whole, we're through the 80s nostalgia. Now it's time to cash in on the 90s kids. That's why we're getting revivals of all that. Keenan and Kel, all kinds of stuff is coming back to really entice adults. A few years back, they had a Pete and Pete reunion. On was it Noggin, and they showed episodes of Pete and Pete. I watched every fucking one. That shit works. But in terms of X-Men, the movies, I just don't have the same attachment. There's something that they're missing, the spirit of it. And I'm laughing that this movie is flopping hard. I don't think it's. I know they're not flopping, but the response critically has been low. I don't really think a lot of people are that excited for it. They've lowered their expectations to $45 million opening weekend, and they think $100 million domestically is going to be what the movie makes. And part of me wants it to make $1 billion, so Disney is forced to make more X-Men movies in this vein, just to fucking, spite them. But at the same time, I just want really good X-Men. And basically, I think we're waiting for the bleeding to stop. And once this movie's over, the bleeding will stop. We need to get rid of Jennifer Lawrence, Michael Fassbender, and James McAvoy. I know people say, they're great actors. Well, I agree with the last two, not Jennifer Lawrence. She's just there. But I'm so tired. And, Jeremy Jahns' review said exactly what I thought this movie was going to be about. Magneto's, at peace doing his own thing. They drag him back in. It's the same fucking plot from the last three movies. Look, First Class introduced a lot of shit, and they just keep remaking First Class in many ways. And I'm so over that genre of X-Men. I want, people always say, what would you do differently? Well, you know what I would do if I made an X-Men film? I'd make it, I don't know how to, I would have like a, not a synth, it's like a synthy score. It would be different visually. It'd be sexier. The characters would have their own costumes. I would have the mutant rights and all those things in the story because that's, tied in with X-Men, but I'd also have a great adventure. I wouldn't have a lot of boring sitting around talking about the morals or whatever. Like, the X-Men go on fucking missions and they're really not sanctioned by the government. In many ways, they're criminals doing certain shit they shouldn't do. I'd have the Blackbird. I'd have them going in and fighting stuff. I'd have mutants. I'd have, a very sci-fi noir feel wrapped up in the X-Men. I'd use the logo, the big block logo from the cartoon. We'd find a way to integrate the theme. I guess I'm trying to say I'd make a live-action version of that old cartoon. I'd just cut out certain 90s dated elements, like Jubilee is the mall girl, the Valley girl. She'd be in the movie, but not, in the same way. And I would have Cyclops not be whiny. People say to me, Jeff, why do you like Cyclops? Because Cyclops wasn't a douche when I was reading and watching X-Men as a kid. He was the leader of the team. He was stern. Everybody liked Wolverine and Gambit because they were the cool guys, but Cyclops was the leader, and he wasn't as whiny as I think it was Joss Whedon wrote him. I can't do modern-day X-Men comics because of the treatment of that character. But, show me him okay, here's my favorite Cyclops story. It's from before the Jim Lee era, where Jean Grey is dead, and Cyclops had, I think, remarried a woman named Madeline Pryor, and then Jean Grey's back. dilemmas, like, what do I do? You know, those kind of stories, fun stuff. And you know what? With the X-Men, you build towards it. X-Men films are a lot like the Fantastic Four, where they just kind of rush to put everything else. Like, does Doctor Doom really need to be in the first story? Probably not. But, you know. Probably not. John Doe says, I don't see a like button, just a muff button. Well, folks, punch that muff button to let me know that you guys like Good Morning Pop Culture. Emma Norman, thank you very much. Disney is to Star Wars what Funko Pops is to collectibles. I like that. I agree with you 100%. Lifeless, homogenized, pop culture crap. It all looks the same, and nobody really loves it. People buy into it because it's popular and they think there's value there, but at the end of the day, they'll realize just how hollow Disney Star Wars, most of Disney Entertainment, and Funko Pops truly are. And I was at GameStop yesterday killing some time before I went to grab dinner, and they have the Funko Pop wall, and that thing never ever seems to move. I'm sure people buy them. I can't lie to you and say no one ever buys Funko Pops. They're popular, but I don't like them. I don't like what they represent. They suck. Logan Michael is right. Cesario Japan says, hate the fact today that sci-fi forced me into the... Hate the fact today's sci-fi forced me into the 60s, 70s, and UK to be entertained. Jerry Anderson's Thunderbirds, Captain Scarlet, UFO, etc. Ugh. You know, Cesario Japan, I actually watched Thunderbirds quite a bit. It used to be on either Tech TV or G4. And I liked it then. I would catch it on reruns. But I have this streaming service called VRV, and Thunderbirds are on there. Thunderbirds are go. And they had, was it the Tracys? Not Scott Tracy, obviously, or Dick Tracy, but I think their family's name is like something Tracy. I've watched that show, Marionation. Those are fun. That's the kind of shit I would show like a 4 or 5-year-old. You know, it's weird, it's otherworldly in terms of like the puppets look kind of funny. But it's just a fun watch, and I really, really enjoy those shows. Let me know what the UFO show is, though, because I might want to watch that myself. Because I know Thunderbirds, and I've heard of Captain Scarlet, but I'll have to look up UFO. That could be fun. Batman 89 was the last event I remember, says Girthy Gamer Standard Definition. Well, okay, so we have agreed, I think it's, June 19th, so that'd be next 2 weeks from today. We're going to do a Batman 89 live show, and we're going to be talking about the impact of the film and all this other fun stuff here on this channel. I lump Batman 89 in with the last of the blockbusters, like a Star Wars. Like, from Star Wars to Batman 89, there was a certain type of blockbuster that was created. And post-Batman, it died off. You had CGI come in, you had different types of things, and then that new era was ushered in by Jurassic Park. And I'm not digging on Jurassic Park. I'm just saying, like, you know, from Star Wars to Batman, it was one generational type of thing. And then from Jurassic Park to, like, X-Men or Spider-Man. Well, I'd say Spider-Man started off the new thing. So if you are like me and you break down pop culture a certain way, I can see what you're saying, though, and I also include Batman as the last of, like, the old school. But it also introduced the modern merchandising, the way we have, you know, like before the movie's out type of thing. This is not going to end well for you. Is that who said that? No, this is not going to go the way you think. When will Disney dump Kathleen Kennedy and Pablo Hidalgo? Probably, like Gary said last night, between the end of episode 9 and the relaunch of the next Star Wars trilogy, she'll probably just retire. What is she going to do? Probably not much. Just get paid. That's all. Just get paid. But I don't think she'll make it past 2022. Now, on this channel, personally, I never said she was fired last September. I never thought that was going to happen. I just was hoping. But, you know, I was quietly hoping. David Hurdy, thank you very much. Do you think Robert Pattinson should be Batman in Batman Beyond? Kevin Conroy could play an older Bruce Wayne, and Mark Hamill could play an older Joker. I like those suggestions. If they would do a Batman Beyond film, which I would go see day one, no question, I would actually like Michael Keaton to play an old Bruce Wayne. Yeah, I love Kevin Conroy's voice. He is what I think of when I think of Batman speaking, especially when I pick up a comic book. But I'm all about Michael Keaton coming back. And the older he gets, I appreciate that Michael Keaton. I think they talked about, or he was interviewed on some show, like a Leno, or, well, not Leno, but like a Tonight Show or something like that. And the guy goes, well, you played Batman once. He goes, no, I am Batman. And I was just like, oh, cool. You know, in the beginning, I think he, you know, it kind of, you know, pissed him off and he retired for a hot minute and did his shit. But I think he's really embraced the legacy of Batman, and he knows how many people love it, and he's cool with it. I wish somebody like Harrison Ford would be cooler with being Han Solo. It's like, I get it, you're yourself, but at the same time, millions of people know you as this, and those millions of people have made you what you are. And if people think, well, that actor worked hard, they did this, they did that. Yes, that is true, but if nobody went to see your fucking movie, it goes both ways. And I kind of like Michael Keaton a lot. But I am in for a Batman Beyond film, and I'm definitely interested in a Mark Hamill old Joker. That'd be weird. I like Mark Hamill a lot as Luke Skywalker, but I don't really think of him as an actor. I think of him as Mark Hamill, who played Luke Skywalker and voiced the Joker, and that's about it. But I would kill to see a live action Joker just voiced by Mark Hamill. How crazy would that be? You could do it. They've dubbed over actors. Goldfinger's voice is not really Goldfinger's voice. A lot of Bond girls, those are not their voices. Why not do it again? I think everyone would be very happy. Joe Arsenal, have you heard about the new Terminator plot leaks? I have not. If you would like to either tweet them to me or something, I would check them out. I could talk about them on the podcast. I have zero interest in Terminator Dark Fate, Dark Horizon, Dark Tomorrow, what the fuck ever it's called. I'm not trying, that wasn't a joke. I don't know the name. I don't care about Terminator. And you're thinking, well, how do you not like Terminator? I do love Terminator. 1 is great, 2 is the best. That's it. The story's over. Go home. I absolutely love those 2 movies. I watched Terminator 1 the other day, and T2 is a film I surprisingly don't own, but I always assumed it was on streaming, so I would just watch it whenever. But I think I need to get myself, when I move, I want to get a nice setup, and T2 is going to be one of the films I get in 4K and all that shit, and watch it on the biggest screen I can get. T2 deserves that respect. I have no interest in this new film. I will read plot leaks. I want to laugh at it. I don't think it's going to be a hit. I think people put a lot of credit to James Cameron, which is nice, but he's not directing this film. He's only producing. And, well, we'll see what happens. Action figure expert, I am not skeptical about Coming to America 2. I'm kind of hopeful. Eddie Murphy needs a comeback, and I think he acknowledges that deep down. And here's my selfish reason why I want this movie to be a hit. Because we get Coming to America 2, it's a hit. That means we'll get Beverly Hills Cop 4. And that is my most desired film, because Beverly Hills Cop 3 sucks, and Axel Foley goes out like a punk. He dies on a beach, Halo Reach style. I want Axel Foley to get the proper send-off, the Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade send-off. Have him ride off into the sunset in his crappy blue Chevy Nova with, having saved the day one last time. Plus, it would be so cool to hear that theme, coming from a movie theater. God, I hope we make it bigger before that movie comes out so I can make the fucking thing. I feel like I'm the only person that has the tools to make it. So, Hollywood, if you're listening, and sometimes we know you are, I'm your guy for Beverly Hills Cop 4. So, Mr. Moose Knuckle, it shouldn't be a surprise, because whenever the High Council is on World Class Bullshitters, 1,000 thumbs up equals a Good Morning Pop Culture. And that is where we are right now, folks. So, we've blown past it. We're enjoying our Good Morning Pop Culture. I got about a whole cup and another third of Dunkin' Donuts dark roast, because I was like, I need to eat something this morning. So that's what I did, and I'm enjoying my coffee, and we're having a fun time. Is that Drunk 3PO in the chat? Shout out to that guy. Folks, check out Drunk 3PO's channel. He's the reason why we were able to do our video yesterday about Christian Harloff shilling for Disney. So, thanks, man. I appreciate it. Trip Fontaine, I, too, am still disappointed by Batman Returns. I didn't see it in theaters. First Batman film I saw in theaters was Batman and Robin. Ugh. But I remember the build-up to Batman Returns. And it was, I remember being a kid, my mom was like, oh, you already got Batman on tape. And she, I had Batman 89, I had the toys. And luckily, Batman Returns, the suit, as a little kid, looked so similar to the 89 costume. Plus, they didn't even make an action figure based on that suit. What they did is they either re-released Crime Attack Batman, which is just an all-black regular bodysuit for Batman, or they did a million other variations of the costume. So I never saw the movie in theaters. I don't even remember seeing it on tape. I mean, I'm sure I did as a kid at some point. I don't like that movie. It's my least favorite. Might be my least favorite Batman flick. I don't know. I have to think about it. I just remember going to McDonald's, and then I remember eventually playing the video game. I had a friend named Andrew. He was a big comic book fan, as was I. But his mom bought him like really obscure shit, and I just stuck with like Spider-Man. So like in the 90s, the Avengers wasn't a thing. No matter how much Disney wants to tell you, oh, the Avengers brand has been strong for almost 60 years. Bullshit. The Avengers sucked in the 90s. X-Men was the main event. X-Men, Spider-Man at Marvel. I can't think of other characters that were bigger. And Deadpool was around. Deadpool wasn't what he is today. So let's not, fool ourselves. Fantastic Four, all that Heroes Reborn shit sucked. They really mishandled a lot of Marvel characters. And then they had the bankruptcy on top of it. It was a very bad time to be a comic book fan. And it was also bad for someone like me who was trying to get into it. You go to the store and you're like, okay, I like the X-Men cartoon. I want to read about an adventure of the X-Men. And it's like, Wolverine is feral. I'm like, what is this? So I didn't get into it. Well, I want to read, when I was younger, it's like, I want to read Superman. Okay, cool. Well, Superman's dead. Shit. Well, at least there's Batman. No, his back is broken. Here's Jean-Paul Valley. Then you get to Spider-Man, and he's a clone, and you're just like, shit, what's a clone? Eventually, Spider-Man figured it out, and I got into that comic book heavily. Sorry, that's me ranting for a moment. I apologize. Jonathan, I did get a donut. I got one donut, because I'm being good. It was a chocolate frosted with sprinkles. I enjoy it was really fresh, too. It was kind of, it's funny and sad at the same time. So my uncle that died last year, I remember us being in the hospital, and one of the last discussions we all had as a family was about donuts. We talked about donuts for like an hour. The dude loved donuts, and he didn't die from any like heart-related diseases. He had cancer, so it wasn't like, oh, he ate donuts until, whatever. But he used to take me to get donuts as a little kid when he'd come visit my grandma, because he lived on the other side of town. And then when he was sick, my other uncles would take him donuts and go visit him and stuff. So very rarely do I eat a donut and not think of my uncle. It's kind of funny, but I did eat a donut. I enjoyed it. It was very fresh. And whenever I go on road trips, I like donuts. And as a kid, we were like, oh, no to Dunkin' Donuts, no to Krispy Kreme. We'd always do this local bakery. And they got really bad. Their donuts aren't really that expensive, but they got smaller and they're never that fresh. So their business has been declining over the last couple of years. And the reason we don't go is because, the quality's dipped. So I go to my local Dunkin', get 2 coffees and a donut, and get amped up on sugar, and I'm here. Let's see. Animated 90s Batman was great. Well, Jeremy, I agree with you 100%. Have I read Kraven's Last Hunt? Well, Michael, not only have I read it, it's my favorite Spider-Man story. I own the single issues. I have the trade paperback. I have the exclusive action figure set from Target sitting next to me. It is the best Spider-Man story. Don't at me. No, I'm just joking. I fucking love it. I'm going to make you guys some Spider-Man content. I know one of our listeners on Facebook has always told me, oh man, it's the Spider-Man content, how I found you. I like your Star Wars stuff, but that Spider-Man shit, I still show people to this day. And I thought to myself, thank you. I'm glad that somebody really appreciated that, because that was something important to me. And Spider-Man, I could talk about the character all day. We talk about Star Wars very passionately and entertainment and stuff, but I don't know if I identify with Spider-Man, but because it's a singular character, the story is about a singular person, and I see similarities, and I think everyone can understand some of the struggles that the character goes through. I identify with that one a lot more. And guess what? Peter Parker's white, and I'm not. Sorry, Hollywood. Your politics and all your bullshit that you try to push means absolutely nothing to me. I can like a character of any color and identify with them because I'm not superficial like you people. And yeah, I said you people. Deal with it. What do I feel about the first Terminator? It being self-contained and non-stop while... Sorry. Jeff, what about the first Terminator? It being more self-contained and nonstop with the story makes it my favorite over 2. I enjoy Terminator 2, or Terminator 1 a lot. If I give 2 like a 9, I'll give 1 almost a 9. I really, to me, they're different beasts, and I look at them differently. One, you have to look at Terminator as a 1980s sci-fi flick, low budget, and what it achieved. And what it achieved was excellent. I mean, yeah, now, some of the effects that are dated, that doesn't color my opinion of the film. Like, yeah, Arnold's latex face and all that, the fuck you asshole, that looks bad. But it doesn't make me dislike the film. Same with T2. Some of the effects are whatever, but it's still a great movie. I guess it's because growing up, I always looked at Arnold Schwarzenegger as the ultimate good guy. And so watching T2 as a kid, I would look at that and just, be really invested in the story. I'll never forget, too, as a kid, I wanted to rent Terminator 2, but I rented Terminator 1, and I watched the whole movie waiting for the part where he became a good guy. And then it ends, and I was like, oh, wait, there's a different Terminator movie. So I was like 6 or 7 when that happened. It was hilarious. But I enjoy... let's see, what... But I enjoy 1 for the dark... what it is. I really do like it, but just there's something about T2, it's grander. I think I prefer, though, the music from T1, that Brad Fiedel... I have the Terminator theme on my phone, the original one. That's so much better than the big grand one from Terminator 2. Let's see. I think the practical effects look better than the CGI. Yeah. Just that one part looks bad in T1 to me. When he pulls his eye out. It's so obviously a latex mask. But whatever. It doesn't change my opinion of the film. It's still a great movie. That's just me trying to be, talk about something. Oh, let's see. I'm glad we got a moderator in the chat. I guess some shit's going down. Let's see. Boom. Boom. Thank you, Star Wars for Life. I owe you one. There we go. A bot. Let's see. Remove. And there we go. All right, thank you. Get him, Rufus. Right. Need RoboCop talk. Could the new one be good? I think RoboCop's over. It's not. RoboCop is not like Terminator, where it's a vehicle for an actor. It's this big thing. RoboCop is commentary, satire at times, on consumerism. It's overtly violent, intentionally. There's a lot of stuff that goes on with RoboCop. The remake wasn't the worst thing I've ever seen, but it wasn't good. I just think RoboCop would be best be left alone. Especially with, they tried to make it modernized, but what else can you do? There's really nothing to say about RoboCop. If you're going to make that, was it Neil Blomkamp is trying to make a RoboCop based off the original ones, or a continuation, I could buy into that. You could make it interesting about, the obsolescence of RoboCop and today's technology, or with today's technology. That'd be interesting. Well, RoboCop took place in the future, so it doesn't matter. I wanted to actually make a point about the Twilight Zone, or make a parallel between the Twilight Zone and Christian Harloff yesterday. Let's see. Move. Let's see. Report. Boom. Like shooting fish in a barrel. I still want a RoboCop versus Terminator movie. I would watch that. I would watch that big time. Somebody was telling me about the NECA toy that had just come out. And I'm thinking to myself, that seems kind of fun. Yeah, the bots. Fuck them. The fish will come back, it seems. Well, bring them on. I prefer a straight fight to all this sneaking around. The Joker movie plot got leaked. Somebody sent me the leak. Folks, just tweet me all these leaks to movies. I'd like to read them for fun. I could use some fun. I would definitely be interested in that. I'm going to see the Joker film. The trailer interests me. I will give Joaquin Phoenix a chance, or whatever his actual name is. But I like him. I like what I saw enough. It's got to be better than Jared Leto, right? Well, I keep telling myself that. Hopefully it comes true one day. One day. Sure, just send me those leaks over Twitter. The Spider-Man movie, it's weird. Like, with Avengers, I didn't want to know a damn thing. With the next wave, it's like, I'm not invested anymore. Kevithar1138's in the chat. Shout out to that dude. Kevithar, you're awesome. Am I skipping episode 9? No, I'm going to see episode 9 for the channel. I kind of have to. We saw 7 and 8 for the channel. And who we are, a lot of people are going to be wanting to listen to that show. And with world-class bullshitters, we're actually making our Star Wars episode 9 coverage an event. You can skip the movie. Like, you could skip Star Wars Celebration and come hang out with us in Chicago. A lot of people did. You can skip episode 9 and get involved with us because we're going to be live streaming. The guys are going to come to town for this movie. We're renting an Airbnb. We're going to get together. We're going to go to a dinner. We're going to go see this movie. And then we're going to live stream the show, our faces on camera. And you don't want to miss out on our review of Star Wars Episode 9. You don't. You could come watch it live. We will invite other YouTubers to get involved. It is going to be the biggest way to close out the year possibly. So, I saw all these F's in the chat. I was like, who died? Oh, if you're passing on episode 9. Let's see. Are you a fan of Nightmare on Elm Street 3? Lord Moon, not only am I a fan, I consider it tied for the best of the Nightmare on Elm Street franchise. That and the original film are fantastic. I don't know how anyone could hate Dream Warriors. It's got a kick-ass theme song. It's fun. It's funny. It's gory. It's what a horror film in the 80s should be to me. Not mean-spirited. It's violent, but it's not a dark film or just a nihilistic look at horror. Plus, the characters aren't stupid. I'm glad you guys like my idea for episode 9. The Fandom Menace really is like just a fun place to be for fans. Like, if you notice when you watch the videos, that's what I say, get involved in the community, make friends. A lot of people, I'm almost positive a couple has met in our Facebook chat. So, I mean, and they're both members of the channel and stuff like that. You know who you are. I'm not going to put your names out there to embarrass you, but I'm almost positive they met over Facebook through the show and now are together, and they're in different countries. So, I mean, the Fandom Menace really is like the antithesis of everything these people in the Access Media say about us. All we do is make you guys look bad because we show how disingenuous you people are. That's all I can say. Sci-fi for me met Jeremy at Celebration. Well, sci-fi for me, I wish we would have met, but I could never find Jeremy. I found him on the first day of Celebration. Then I couldn't find anyone on day 2. I take it back. I walked in the door. Who did I meet? Odin from Odin's Movie Blog. Nice guy. We watched the Star Wars Episode 9 trailer together. And then the guys from my podcast came in. We hung out. We went to the meet and greet. Saturday, we were back at the show early. Couldn't find Jeremy. Sunday, we got snowed in. Monday, we didn't see Jeremy either. Yeah, because he didn't go. He left Sunday night. That's why we didn't see him Monday, because he left during Game of Thrones. Mazamonti, thank you very much. I was lucky enough to love Terminator plus Alien, to see all the sequels that were better than the originals. Hollywood is murdering itself. Shoulders should be furious. Or stockholders should be furious, excuse me. Yeah, Gary made an excellent point last night, Mazamonti, if you want to go back and listen to the High Council, unless you have already. But he talks about making your money now versus longevity. I agree from a business, you want to make your money now and do stuff and, allocate resources, invest. I'm not knocking that. But when it comes to entertainment, it's a little different because you need the goodwill of the fans to keep your franchises afloat when there are no movie years. I'd love to see what Star Wars made in 1996 because people are like, well, why 96? It was a year before the special editions. The toy line was out in full force. They had a whole line of Super Nintendo games and computer games, all kinds of stuff. You had books, you had Shadows of the Empire, you had all these big Star Wars things happening, and that was a non-movie year. You couldn't have that. You can't put out a Rey Finn comic book and sell 1 million copies in a non-Star Wars movie year. And the funny thing is they always use that excuse. Oh, it's a non-movie year. That's why the toys are failing. It's a non-movie. You used this excuse last year. It was a movie year. The year before that was a movie year. Look, it's every year has been a movie year since Disney started pumping out movies. 15, Force Awakens. 16, Rogue One. 17, Last Jedi. 18, Solo. 19, The Rise of Shitwalker. All those movies, every year is a movie year. I'm so tired of the fucking excuse. Well, it's not a mainline trilogy movie year. That doesn't matter. It's still a movie. Does Marvel say, well, we're not going to put out any toys this year because it's not a movie year for the Avengers? No. There's a Guardians toy line. There's an Iron Man toy. I mean, Iron Man 3 made more than most of the Marvel movies. There was no there was no Avengers movie in 2013, though. Was it not a movie year? See, with Star Wars, we're always trying to alter our arguments. Oh, well, it's this, it's that. You're always trying to make excuses. Excuse is the name of the game. That's how I started talking about Star Wars stuff. It's like, why do they keep making excuses? This franchise should be able to be standing on its own, but it's not. I can't handle it. Thank you, Darth Durkle, the wise ass. I appreciate that compliment. Star Wars has always sold merchandise well until Disney started making movies. Yeah, and I know this is just me, but man, I couldn't throw enough money at Star Wars for a couple years, even as an adult. It's like those vintage trilogy collection toys that came out around 2010. I'm still trying to catch up, but I wish I had the money because for $100 you could have got this AT-AT walker, and it's beautiful. Now it's $500. I'm not going to spend $500 on a walker, but I didn't have $100 to spend in 2010. I couldn't even get Princess Leia at the time. That's how strapped for cash I was. It was right before I had to drop out of school for money reasons. And I'm like, oh man, I want this, I want that. Couldn't do it. But now as an adult, well, I was legally adult back then. But now, there's new stuff that I could buy and there's just nothing out there for me. I think, Alphamar, do you think Avenger or MCU is becoming too generic? Yeah. Look it, folks. I'll just reiterate my point so I don't sound like I'm, hating on everything. I enjoyed the ride for the Avengers, but every, once in a while, you gotta just let it go. And that's not a Frozen reference. I think with Robert Downey Jr. being gone and Captain America being gone, spoilers, and these things going away the way they have, it's inevitable that there's going to be some kind of a drop-off in terms of viewership. And I think these movies, especially like a Spider-Man film, they're very forgettable and generic. Like Spider-Man movies, I know I always harp on Spider-Man 2, and there's a good reason for it. It's a fantastic film that gets the spirit of the character correctly. But a lot of these Marvel movies are homogenized. It's just the same old shit. Does anybody really remember Thor: The Dark World? Like every element of it? Does everyone really remember Iron Man 2 or I saw Doctor Strange one time. I remember liking the Dormammu have come to bargain part. But I mean, there are moments that make these movies awesome, but there are other very similar moments. And I think now that the high has worn off, we've had the big climax, the end game, if you will. I think people will go back and watch those movies and look at them slightly differently. And I think you will see a drop-off. And, Marvel films are McDonald's, essentially. Well, no. Yeah, they are McDonald's. Everybody, everybody's had McDonald's. But, it comes and goes. And after a while, McDonald's loses money. Jonathan Stovall says, I never knew I needed good morning pop culture. Thanks, Jeff. Well, thank you, Jonathan, for watching this morning, or listening, I should say. There's no footage to watch. It's just me and a red t-shirt in an office. And but thank you for listening. I enjoy it. It's a lot of fun. Yeah, I went to bed super late last night and got up to do this, but you guys are worth it. Like, I made a joke in the last Christian Harloff video about, I didn't have any sleep that night. We're building something here. Gary reached 100,000. I'm there. Ethan and Jeremy were all there. But it's not just because, we did one thing. It's, it's a constant, push to keep moving. And you guys are always there for us. So we owe it to you guys to give you as much content as we can. Good content, not crap. Good content. One, we enjoy it. And two, you guys enjoy it. And we're able to do this. And it's so much fun. So I'm glad you enjoyed it this morning. Alec Munoz, thank you very much. Thank you very much. Jeff, what would you think of Nolan coming back and directing Batman Beyond or Nightwing with Joseph Gordon-Levitt? I like Joseph Gordon-Levitt as an actor. I really do. I don't know if you need a Christopher Nolan to direct a Batman Beyond film, Alec. I think what you would want would be maybe was it Denis Villeneuve or whatever, the guy that did like Blade Runner, or something like a visionary. Like I love some Nolan flicks. Like I really love the first. I like the Batman trilogy, but I love the first two. I really enjoyed Inception a lot. What was this war one? Dunkirk. I liked that movie too. Nolan movies are a certain thing, but I look at Batman Beyond as something else. Maybe I'm the crazy one, but I just remember seeing it. I remember it debuted at night on WB, Kids W. Well, it wasn't Kids W, it was regular WB. And there's something inherently different about Batman Beyond. And I don't know if it needs to be very techie, very science fiction-y. It needs to look like a Black Mirror, but play out like a classic film. Does it make sense? If it's a continuation, which is what I think you're talking about, I'm all about that. Like, Alec, if what you pitched gets made, I'm not going to say, no, I'm skipping it. I'll say, I'm there, I'm on board. JGL is a very good actor. Great actor at times. I like him. Now, do I think it'll happen? I don't think it'll happen, but I would watch it, and it would be fun. And damn it, see, when you guys pitch certain things, I get excited and then sad because I know it's not going to happen. That's all I can say is I know it's not going to happen. But Nightwing movie, no, I don't really like Nightwing as a character. I know that's sacrilege to some people. I don't like Teen Titans that much. Oh, I like the show Teen Titans, like the first one, not the new one. I just never got into the characters. I think the reason why, and that's one thing I do pride myself on with like talking about entertainment, is I always pay attention to why I like or dislike something. And I think the reason I never got into Teen Titans or, kiddie superheroes is because as a kid, I was happy as a kid, but I always wanted to be slightly older. I wanted to, know what the adults were doing or the older kids were talking about, stuff like that. I read at a higher level. I could, hold conversations. My mom always tells the story. We were at a Kroger or a White Castle, and I was talking to the people about who's on the money and this and that. So, I was a kid, but I wasn't always strictly focused on kid things, and I didn't want to watch other kids in action. I think the only movie that I had that starred a kid when I was young was probably Home Alone 3. The other movies I was watching were like Indiana Jones and stuff like that. I wanted to be older. Like the Power Rangers were older. I think that's why I got into them so much, because they were teenagers with attitude, yet they were just like the safest, nicest people you could bring home to your grandma type of thing. Point is, though, they were adults to a degree, played by adults. And that is why the Nightwing character doesn't do anything wrong. I know he's an adult character, but to me, he's still Robin, the boy wonder. I'm not interested in that dynamic. Plus, another reason why I never got into Robin or Nightwing is because it's an offshoot of Batman, and I want the mainline shit. I want Coca-Cola. I don't want orange vanilla Coca-Cola. That's Nightwing. Even though orange vanilla Coke's decent, like I think Nightwing is a decent character, I don't get into it as much. But if you do a Batman Beyond movie, consider me there day one. You announce that movie and pre-orders are on sale now, I'll buy 2 tickets. Just in case I want to take somebody. Or I want an extra seat to lay out. That's what I like about going to see movies days later, is I'll get seats in the very back of the theater, and I'll just lay across the seats. I'll be comfortable. I'll admit it. I'll drink my drink, eat some snacks, and really enjoy myself. Let's see. Where are we at? There's Drunk 3PO. Yeah, folks, check him out. Makes good stuff. I will be on Mary Mayhem's 1,000 subscriber special. She's waiting to hit it. She's only like 13 away. So if you wouldn't mind doing me a favor, check out the Mary Mayhem channel. Star Wars for Life, if you could, please share the link. I would love for everyone to go subscribe to her, because she was on the Black Angus 1,000 subscriber special. And she's like, Jeff, I'm a fan. When I hit 1,000, would you join me? And I said, of course. So she has it scheduled for June 14th, which is next Friday at 9 p.m. And I'll be over there, and we'll be discussing anything she wants. It's her channel. I am honored to be the guest. So, folks, check out Mary Mayhem's channel and help her get to 1,000 subscribers. I feel like that is my big push right now, is to help all the fandom menacers that are pumping out regular content, help them get to the first 1,000. Then it starts to grow. They get monetized. They get all this stuff. And, we helped Brian Lape. Black Angus is their Drunk 3PO. He's in the thousands already. That dude's a rock star. Cecil's there, all these things. Cecil's actually getting closer to 10,000. You should also go subscribe to Cecil, because once he hits 10,000, he'll get stuck and he has to make a comic book. So, The Adventures of Cecil, or whatever it's called. Oh, she blew past 1,000. Cool. Well, then there we go. Congratulations, Mary Mayhem. Shout out to Demogenite, too. Another YouTuber making content all the time. Check his channel out. You guys... all I can do is tell you guys, thank you and congratulate you on the success. You just keep doing it, and you'll be, where we are. Let's see. Pretty sure Warner Brothers owns Tom and Jerry. Yeah, I think they were Tom and Jerry. Or maybe they may have bought them. Who was Tom and Jerry? Wasn't Universal back in the day, was it? Who was Tom and Jerry? Because they weren't Looney Tunes. Like, let's see, Tom and Jerry. I'm not even trying to question you, who said that out, or who said. I just want to know from my. Yeah, it's on the Warner Brothers. MGM. That's why I just want to know who originally released it. It was MGM, so that's Warner Brothers now. Yeah. Will I watch the Dora the Explorer movie? No, I will not. I've never seen the cartoon. I know it's boots and backpacks and swiper no swiping. But no. Am I buying the new vintage re-release figures with the Horde yellow stickers on them? I'm trying to find them. I really am trying to find them. But I can't. I did get Grand Moff Tarkin, though. I got that board game. So, that'll be fun. Let's see. Who said... Silver Nova says, I can't stop thinking about Wokebusters now. I am making you a guarantee. Once you get it, you won't be able to stop thinking about it. And I got a different approach to the Wokebusters campaign. Different than any comic campaign. And it's going to be a lot of fun. And I'm going to make sure this one's done before I do anything with it. But I've been studying a different art style for Wokebusters. And that's it. That's all I can tell you for now. Swinging Cod, thank you very much. You know that if they greenlit Batman Beyond, they would have Ryan Johnson direct it and cast a paraplegic transsexual as Terry McGinnis. They'd probably try to cast a woman and be like, oh, I'm Batman, but woman, whatever. Like, and they'll try to use, well, it's the future, and they splice, and they use genetics and this and that. And it's like, fuck off. Make a live-action version of the goddamn cartoon I watched and take my money. Okay? Make the suit fully black, cover his damn mouth, put the big red bat, have him fly around, have Bruce Wayne in his ear, get the car, do all that shit, and use that same kick-ass theme song with the fucking guitar in it. Don't give me some orchestrated bullshit. Get Daft Punk to do me a score and make it sound like the cartoon. There you go. Batman Beyond is like the easiest way to make some money. And you really haven't tapped into it. It just turned 20 this year. The only thing that sucks with Batman Beyond is DC Collectibles did a multi-pack of Batman Beyond. And it is prohibitively expensive because I refuse to spend like $90 on 2 action figures. But I should have bought it when it first came out. I didn't. And I'm kind of pissed off because they haven't really made too many decent Batman Beyond toys. As a kid, I never got one because I could never find one that was the same color. Like, they made like a blue shiny one that was kind of like the show, but they had all the other figures, and I was just like, no thank you. Please give me the original design. And they didn't. That was when they kept doing those recolored bat suits. I hated those so much. Yeah, $124. And yeah, it's a 3-pack. You get Batman, you get Bruce Wayne, and you get, I think his name is Ace, or is it Sam? What was the dog's name? And you get a lot of cool shit, but, like, come on. That's a little pricey for just 3 figures. The Flying Lemur, thank you for $1. Demajanai says, at 450, thanks everyone for subbing so far. Well, Demajanai, you're only 550 away from that 1,000. And if you want, I'll come on your channel when you have your 1,000 subscriber special. We'll hang out, we'll talk, we'll have some fun, man. I'm a fan of yours. It was really nice to meet you. Demajanai drove from New Jersey to Illinois to hang out with us at the Fandom Menace meetup. So that dude is awesome. Super dedicated, a good guy. Do I think Dark Phoenix is going to flop? Probably. To be honest, when I said to the guys last night in the High Council that it comes out in 3 days, they're like, what? So, and we keep our fingers on the pulse. We know it's coming out, when it's coming out. We get invested. It's, it's part of our job. But my God, Dark Phoenix seems like an afterthought. Nostalgic Eye, thank you very much. Hey, Jeff, big fan of you and the High Council. So what Star Wars books are you reading at the moment? Remember you mentioning it last week. Well, hold on, where'd it go? It's got a red cover. It's the first one in a certain series. God damn it. Where'd the book go? I am notoriously disorganized. Well, just right now, at least. Other shit's on track. The Star Wars book I'm reading starts out with a raid on the Imperial shipyards where these former Imperials steal a Star Destroyer and they shoot somebody in the face, and like it's really good, but it's the beginning of a trilogy. Is it the Black Fleet saga or something like that? And I only have 1 of 3, and I started reading it and I liked it so much I was hooked, but I should have picked a different book to start with. I know everyone's like, you should have started with the Zahn trilogy. I promise I'll read those. If I don't read them soon, I'll just get the damn things on Audible. I have like 6 months of credits available to me on Audible. I'll just listen to them on the way to the gym. I'll stop listening to my true crime podcast, which it's funny. I always considered myself me, and I like stuff from when I was a kid and as an adult, but I listen to these like grown up, like really morbid podcasts, and I'm so hooked. Like this one called Crime Junkie. I can't stop listening to it. Like, they're talking about these terrible things, and I'm just like, oh my God, I wonder if they're going to catch this killer. And, sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. But it's in a very well put together package. The 2 ladies that run it, Britt, and I think Ashley's the other lady's name. I love that show. And I listened to this other one called Box of Oddities. I almost wish I could do a podcast with just one single person for the sake of that, because there's such good not repartee. Well, maybe that would be the right word I want to use. But rapport. They come off, they play off each other so incredibly well, and I'd love to just have those kind of conversations and tell each other stories. Maybe I'll try to find time for somebody out there. If you're a podcaster, well, hit me up. But Nostalgic, I thank you very much. I like your icon a lot, actually. If you could tell me how you made that, let me know, because I'd really like to do something like that for a t-shirt soon. And I'm looking forward to launching those, because like I said on the High Council last night, I'm going to have my mom work for me. I know you're thinking, oh, your mom worked for you, that's weird. No, but yeah, she's going to be the one that's making all the stuff, and she's got an eye for detail second to none, so don't worry, folks. You'll be in good hands with Mother Hicks around. The Rookie Critic says, morning, Jeff. Finally caught a good morning pop culture. Well, good morning to you, the Rookie Critic. And I got your message, so I will take care of what you requested well before the due date. I think I might actually have Phil help me film it. So, thank you, Rookie Critic, and I hope you're enjoying Good Morning Pop Culture. Hope everyone's enjoying it. Hit a thumbs up if you're enjoying it, and hit a flex emoji if you're liking it. Let's see. Trevor RN says, I have the Collector's Edition DVD box set. I hope you mean Batman Beyond, so I can talk about it more. I'm going to guess that's what you mean. I don't own Batman Beyond on DVD. I should. I have Batman the Animated Series on Blu-ray, thanks to our friend, I think his name's Jonathan. Yeah, right? God, I know he used to listen every day. But he sent me, he's like, you got to get Batman the Animated Series. He sent me the super chat to get it. And it's right here. I'm literally touching it right now. And I want to watch the other one. I have a DC streaming service, though. I can watch Batman Beyond anytime I want. It's a damn fine show. Damn fine show. Ham Sandwich says, I'm a new channel, finishing an epic animated short starring all Fandom Menace YouTubers called Ryan Johnson Destroyed Something Beautiful. Please subscribe. All right, well, I'll subscribe, because I like your name, Ham Sandwich, first off. And I want to see the animated version of me. It's my dream in life to be a action figure. But you know what? To be in an animated thing is really pretty awesome, too. So ham sandwich. There we go. So let's see. The Phantom Medicine. That's gonna be fun though. I still love Ryan the Boatmaker. That's one of my favorite things ever. Do I think Hollywood will survive if they continue to spit out gender politics and mostly woke films? No, I don't. The Dirty Rotten Scoundrels remake, what is it called? The Con or the whatever, that came and went. Gender flopped or gender switches. They try to build up a lot of these movies, but I'm so thankful we live in a world where Ghostbusters was a failure on their end, because those people in Hollywood can't get over it, and the people that write for Hollywood can't get over it, and they're like, well, they're just sexist. No, you made a bad movie, and you don't fuck with Ghostbusters, okay? You don't. Ghostbusters, Back to the Future, Indiana Jones, there's certain 80s properties that maybe they're just boys franchises, but believe me, so many people saw them, that's why they made the money, but they're so, people are attached to those. Don't mess with them, because fans will beat you, okay? Like, Sony, you should learn that the hard way. Like, when you make this He-Man movie, don't mess it up, because a lot of people like He-Man. You're going to have a lot of people come out of the woodwork and go, oh, He-Man's lame, that's from the 80s, blah, blah, blah. Look, it's not that you like it or I don't like it or whatever. He-Man will have an audience, and you will have very dedicated people come out to support it. And, speaking of woke movies, do you remember a couple years ago how Amy Schumer was going to play the Barbie doll in the movie, and they were going to make it about, oh, Barbie's drunk and a loser and this and that. And now who's playing Barbie? Margot Robbie. Beautiful woman, talented actress, looks like a real-life Barbie doll. So I think a lot of these places are going to stop with some of the woke entertainment, because remember, they're a business. They are beholden to stockholders. They have to answer to higher powers. And I'm not talking about Vince McMahon. There's these things they have to do, and if they continue to just infuse weird wokeness and people ain't buying it, well, then someone's going to lose a job. And these people don't want to lose their jobs. Gary's worked out in Hollywood. He knows what's up. Jessie Milestone's been out in Hollywood. She knows what's up. So it'll stop sooner than we think. We just gotta keep pushing back on the bullshit. And Hollywood, if you're out there, you can make movies starring women. You've been doing it forever. Don't act like you're trailblazing. You had your Rita Hayworths and your Jean Harlows back in the day. You've had your Doris Day through the 60s. She just passed away. She's from here. That's why I brought her up. You've had tons of these huge actresses, and science fiction and action franchises have been led by women. Even if here's one that's not a great example in terms of success, but I like it. The Long Kiss Goodnight with Gina Davis. That's a fun movie. I saw it the other night on TV, and I thought, yeah, this was really cool back in the 90s. I mean, you had Wonder Woman. You had all these other things. You don't need to play dirty pool to make Captain Marvel what it is. You can make a good movie and people will go see it. I never once heard Gal Gadot be unlikable like Brie Larson. Ooh, Dark Phoenix got 2 out of 5 stars in The Guardian. The Guardian. Well, you know what? Let's go see how the Okay, so it got a 6 on IGN. I'm not going to show you IGN because it's fucking IGN. Let's see, Dark Phoenix. Now let's see how it's looking on Rotten Tomatoes. Oh, I could go see it tomorrow at 7 p.m., but I won't. Oh, man, Rotten Tomatoes. It's got a 20% on Rotten Tomatoes. Let's look at this together, folks. This will be a fun way to end our show. Which, sometimes I'm like, oh, it's 10 o'clock, it's time to end. Today I'm having a good time. I think everyone else is having a good time, too. So, we'll just play this one by ear. Okay, so boom. So Dark Phoenix is sitting at a 21% on Rotten Tomatoes. Oof. That's gonna hurt. That is really gonna hurt. Now let's look at this a little more. So let's see what some of these reviews are. Camboli Campbell. Cool name. We've seen this all before. 2 out of 5. And it comes from Little White Lies. From the Tribune, what's truly amazing about Dark Phoenix is watching the charismatic, award-winning, star-packed cast flail about this poorly written nonsense cartoon. Oh. The Rap says, in a strange way, it might have been preferable if this was the most embarrassing film in the series, since at least there'd be a reason to remember it. Ouch. Phoenix is a joyless addition to the long-running X-Men franchise, 12 movies over 18 years, and one is left with the impression that the series has been too long at the fair. And that came from Seattle Times. Washington Post says there's way too much darkness and not enough Quicksilver wit. Well, I think you should capitalize that Q, because, proper names and shit. Okay, Dark Phoenix keeps the X movies tradition of not giving the classic characters enough runway to take off. That comes from the shelf. That's Victor Stiff. Is that a real name, Victor Stiff? That either sounds like a guy in a band or a James Bond villain. Now, there are some positives. Let's see. I'm trying to look for a more reputable source than Rendy Reviews. Let's see. Philip D. Semelian says, it's not nearly as good as Logan or X2, but it's a whole lot better than the eyeball-poking affliction that was X-Men Apocalypse. Well, if that's the case, then I'm kind of excited, because I hate X-Men Apocalypse. Jeez. Terrible movie. Let's see. Business Insider says, when your superhero movie hinges on a finale set on a train, you kind of know you're doomed. Oh, man, we saw the finale on the trailer then. Man, 7 pages of this shit. No bots, I hope. Ooh, verified audience. No verified audience for Dark Phoenix. You're fucking right. I hate this website. Anyway, it's not looking too pretty for this movie. 4 out of 10, 2.5. 2.5 out of 10. Ouch. 1.5 out of 4. Dark Phoenix simply sits there patiently killing time with the hope that the spectacle and an ensemble cast is enough to carry the load of its dreadfully thin script. Honestly, I think Disney wants this movie released and to be terrible so they can just basically give their own version of the X-Men and not, too worried about that. Let's see. Anthony Modest says, Jeff, you should do Good Morning Murder Files. Ooh, that'd be fun. I'll get too deep into it. I'll just be like, all right, did you hear about this? And then I'll try to put shit together. Like, if I do, unsolved mysteries, I'm like, it was the gardener. He was fucking there at the same time the little girl went missing. And I'd all try to do all this shit, and it would just get intense. I think I should stay away from doing true crime and shit like that. My God. I would become, a conspiracy theorist on, true shit. It'd be like, Jeff, we know the guy did it. Well, I don't know. I mean, look at the DNA evidence. And, I was listening to Eddie Bravo on the Joe Rogan show yesterday. I'm just like, I can never talk about anything like this in public because I'll sound like this fucking guy and I'll be embarrassed of myself. What do you think about X-Men Days of Future Past? I think it is the best X-Men movie next to X2. And I'm just saying X-Men. Logan is a fantastic film. That's in a different category for me in terms of, it's Logan's movie, not an X-Men film. I love Days of Future Past. The setting works. The actors are great. I like everything about that film. I own it on Blu-ray. I watch it. I won't say I watch it regularly, but I watch it every once in a while. I watch it more than other X-Men films. My copy of X2 on Blu-ray doesn't work, and for some reason, I just never get a new one. It's like $8. It's not expensive to get. But for some reason, I just never get a new copy of it. And X2 is up there with Spider-Man's, those, the very important movies to me. I didn't see X2 in theaters. I take that back. I didn't see X2 or 3 in theaters. I saw all the Spider-Man flicks, but I remember a kid across the street had X2 on DVD. He's like, we can borrow it, and you can borrow it and you can watch it. And I watched it, and he wanted to watch it with me because he loves the movie. And I looked over, and I'm like, this is fantastic. And I was hooked. And this was right before X3 came out, actually. So, big fan of that movie. And then Days of Future Past. Grand Inquisitor says, Dark Phoenix should have been aborted. But we talked about that in greater detail over on our After Hours podcast over on Patreon. And, I like to keep the politics off. So Dark Inquisitor, believe me, I'm not mad at what you said. I actually like the joke. But I do find it hypocritical how these people in Hollywood act and how Disney makes these business deals with China and all these other places. So, realistically, shut the fuck up, Hollywood, and these actors. I don't look at actors for my moral compass. My moral compass comes from one person, me. I don't look for Sophie Turner to, stand up for the rights of whatever. Please, actors, stop. Well, the reshoots, do you think Dark Phoenix will get the same treatment as Justice League and Solo? Definitely not Justice League. To me, Justice League, I like half of it. So it's, 50%, I enjoy it. Well, no, it's a little more than a 50% movie because I took my mom to see it and I'm sitting there thinking, when is this going to get bad? And I looked at her, I'm like, that's pretty good. She's like, yeah, I liked it. And it has nothing to do with the experience of taking my mom. I've taken her to many movies. But there's just something about the Justice League film I don't hate. I don't know how to describe it. But that movie is very broken in a movie by committee. Also, Justice League and Solo are made by studios that own rights to these things that wanted them to succeed so they could build further adventures. I firmly believe they don't care about X-Men. They just want it to go away so they can make their own versions. And they have done terrible casting. Like, who the fuck plays Cyclops? He's a nobody. Jean Grey, the girl from Game of Thrones, not a great choice. I mean, she's okay, I guess, on Game of Thrones, but as an actress, I'm not sold in X-Men. Michael Fassbender's a fantastic actor, same with James McAvoy. I like Jessica Chastain. I don't know how she is in this movie, and I think Jennifer Lawrence is overrated as shit. I'm glad the Hunger Games made money. She's making $20 million a picture. I'm not playing a fucking violin for that woman. She is what she is. The only complaint I have with her on a personal level is you refuse to wear the Mystique makeup, therefore you want to wear like a rubber suit type of thing, and the design looks like shit because of her complaining. Like, if I was a director, I'd be like, look, we'll just get somebody else. Fuck, you get Rebecca Romaine to come back and play her. Like, I was about that version of Mystique. Not only just for the looks, but there was something about her, the way she moved, the way she fought. I don't like Jennifer Lawrence. Jennifer Lawrence looks like a little kid in a costume. The Rookie Critic, thank you very much. Keep up the great work. The Fandom Menace is on a roll lately. We really are. And here's the trick to all this. We like each other. I like Jeremy. I like Ethan, Gary, Doomcock, Anna, Jesse, Mecha Random, Star Wars. I like all these people. We like each other, we want to help each other, and we're all growing together. So, I mean, that's really the trick of the Fandom Menace. You just got to respect and like each other, and we do. It was hard to get shit done at Star Wars Celebration because we liked being around each other. And when we were done eating dinner on that last night, we stood around in a parking lot for almost an hour and talked. And we all were like, none of us wanted to go. We were having such a good time. We wish there was more time together. So, anyone out there that wants to try to replicate it, you just got to find people that it's a perfect storm of liking the people and they believe in what they do type of things. Yeah, Kendo, the body paint is great on her. Let's see. Obi-Wan 2783 had a super chat. Let me roll up to check that out. Do not want to ignore it. There we go. Sorry, man. The screen jumped. Let's see. Where? God damn it, it jumped again. Okay, Obi-Wan 2783 says, wait, Jeff, you mean you don't think we should have a Marjorie McFly and Dr. Emily Brown in Back to the Future? In Back to the 2019 movie? How dare you not be woke? Well, Obi-Wan 2783, I saw Marlene McFly in Back to the Future 2, and Michael J. Fox makes an ugly girl. I can just say, I love Michael J. Fox. All respect to that dude, but you don't make a pretty girl. None of us would. No, I would never in a million... If I had, like superpowers and shit, anyone that even had the thought of remaking Back to the Future outside of, is it a joke, would get Thanos snapped instantly. No. I'd be like that kid in the Twilight Zone, to bring it back to the Twilight Zone, who doesn't like when people have bad thoughts or talks when the music's playing or whatever. I'm like, you do not mess with Back to the Future. Everything else, go ahead. You want to talk, you want to have terrible thoughts, you want to try things and fail, you leave Back to the Future alone. That is the most sacred movie to me in the world. There's something good and pure about it. And the best part, there are two great parts. First off, the fans are awesome. I don't meet shitty Back to the Future fans. Secondly, everyone involved with the movie understands what it is. Unlike a Harrison Ford and Carrie Fisher who kind of take the piss out of Star Wars, Michael J. Fox, Leah Thompson, Christopher Lloyd, Thomas F. Wilson, even Crispin Glover, even though he's kind of crazy, everybody respects and loves what it was, what it did for them, what it means to a lot of people. I can't think of another big franchise movie that gets the same respect. Seriously. But I wish Star Wars would have gone the Back to the Future route where, it's always available. People still talk about it. It's referenced. Merchandise comes out. Star Wars is more merchandise than Back to the Future ever could imagine to be. But, for example, they made a Back to the Future Hot Wheel as Biff's car, and it had, plastic manure. I want to get one. You can't make anything from that movie I don't want to buy. There's just something good and pure about Back to the Future. And the people that make it know that too. I wish more people just had respect for their fans and the properties they made. That's all I can say. But thank you, Obi-Wan2783. And if I ever forget anything, folks, just let me know with a regular message. I watch the chat like a hawk on Good Morning Pop Culture, and I will go back and read it. LSU fan Jeremy, thank you very much. With the MCU as chopped up as it is over different companies owning separate IPs, we'll never get a great X-Men Avengers crossover. Yeah. Now, what do you consider a great X-Men Avengers crossover? I am in the guilty party of I loved X-Men versus Avengers from 2011. I bought into that storyline heavily. I bought every book. I bought not only the main titles, but the Versus titles. I read them all. I think they were just so much fun. I'd love something like that, something so basic, but I don't know if that would ever work on film, maybe in animation. Like, okay, Disney animation at one point was the peak of American animation. You know, you have your Miyazaki and your stuff in Japan and other parts of the world, but look, we can shit on Disney and their business practices. Their animation studio at one point was the gold standard. Why can't Disney utilize the countless animators they have and do something cool with Marvel like that? I don't think anyone's going to bitch, because look, I know they make these shows on a budget to sell toys, but let's put out a cool Disney animated feature of Marvel, you know, something like that. Like a Lego movie, but with Marvel characters type of thing. Not like necessarily humorous, but like really expertly animated Marvel. That'd be so fucking cool. I don't necessarily need a crossover to LSU fan Jeremy, and let me give you another reason why. Because the real Iron Man's gone. The real Captain America's retired, this and that and the other. They basically wrote themselves into a corner where no big crossover will have the big characters anymore. And I don't care about Bucky Cap. I don't care about Falcon Cap. I don't care about Captain Marvel. They can tell me. You can tell me that they're all as good as the real deal. But I know you can't bullshit a bullshitter, especially in the world-class variety. You can't lie to me and tell me that those characters hold the same weight in terms of story thematically or in terms of popular culture as their prior iterations. Not. Tony Stark is Iron Man. Captain America is Steve Rogers. I won't accept substitutes, recastings, any of that shit. And so any crossover that were to feature those characters is now handicapped because they do not exist. And if you try that alternate reality shit, that is how the Marvel Cinematic Universe will die. It gets convoluted and stupid. So if you're gonna stick with Iron Man being dead, I don't necessarily know if he's dead or not. Wink, wink. You move forward and you don't talk about him anymore. That's all I can say. Let's see. Screen jumped again. Don't want to miss anything. McKinney90. Speaking of artistry, what's up, folks? Check out McKinney90 on Instagram. Good stuff. I follow. Tobey Maguire's web swinging felt smoother and more natural, whereas Andrew Garfield's web swinging was more flashy and freestylish. Tom Holland is more Garfield, but needs more web swinging sequences. Ooh, let me break that down. I actually really like this. I agree with everything you said about the web swinging sequences, especially the opening to Amazing Spider-Man 2. It's very herkily-jerkily, if you know what I mean. Wink, wink, Chuck Wendig. But there's an epicness to Spider-Man. One thing I don't think a lot of people take into account is that Spider-Man was made in the vein of the Superman film. These great epic stories. They're trying to be larger than life. And when the Spider-Man final swing and that music hits and you have the orchestra, there's a choir involved with the orchestra and the Spider-Man swinging around, and it flows the way it does. And that's just the final swing. If we're talking about the other swinging sequences, yes. The part with Peter and Mary Jane after the Unity Day Festival in part 1 has a very naturalistic feel to it. My favorite web swinging sequence in all of the films comes from part 2, right after Spider-Man had left the party where Mary Jane and John Jameson got engaged, and you just see him swing, and there's like a softness to like his lenses, like he was crying type of thing, and it just looks so cool. And he goes to shoot, and his webs won't come out, and he falls and he hits the ground. I love that moment. I think that's very well done. Garfield's web swinging. Okay, another thing too. If you're a Spider-Man fan, you'll understand this analogy. The Sam Raimi films are classic John Romita, Stan Lee Spider-Man. The romantic nature, the costume design, the character choices, the motivations. If you like that era of Spider-Man and you actually know what that means, the Raimi movies mean a whole lot more to you, because that's what Raimi was into. He's an old school Spider-Man fan. He was there fairly early on. I don't know if he's there from the beginning because I don't know how old he is, but he was there in the early days of Spider-Man. when you get to the Mark Webb directed, Avi Arad controlled Andrew Garfield Spider-Man, it's a very Todd McFarlane-esque. We got to get this pose, we got to do that, it's just to make fucking money. Okay, I like Todd McFarlane as much as the next guy, probably more because I respect him a lot. But there's something about the Garfield films that just feels very corporately produced. There's no labor of love. I don't like the web swinging at all. I just don't like how the physics look. And you would think that the older ones look hokey because of the technology. But I think even Tom Holland's web swinging in the opening to Spider-Man, Homecoming looks pretty bad. When it's playing Blitzkrieg Bop and he's like bouncing over the buildings and shit, I don't think that looks very good. I don't think Spider-Man looks good on film anymore. He looks overly fake. I don't know if there's actually somebody in the suit at times, but the CGI looks really rough, and Spider-Man doesn't even look like he's in the same room as a lot of people. Only when he takes off his costume does he look like he's there, or his mask, because, it's just an actor in a suit. But when we get to... another thing, too, about the Raimi films that people think, well, the costume's whatever. Well, the costume is the way it is because when they filmed that movie, it was hard to produce, like, the reds on film. So the suit's the way it is so it could be photographed, like with the raised webbing and stuff. And I like... Maybe I'm just, used to it, but I prefer the old Spider-Man costume from Spider-Man 2, preferably. That's the best one. And if you're like, what's the difference? Well, look at the inside of the hands. The colors are different. The spiders are different. Anyway... It's different enough that you won't notice, but it's different enough that you could, sell new action figures based off it. That's all I can say. I think Tom Holland needs more web swinging. That's one thing that's missing out from him as Spider-Man. He's been in, 4 movies now? This will be his 4th one? No, this will be his 5th one. 2 Avengers, Civil War, his movie, and this. Where is Spider-Man swinging through the city? I get it, you want to have him on a phone trying to be fucking funny, and free running and parkour is cool in European markets. I don't give a shit about that. I want to see Spider-Man swinging around. Internal monologue. Stuff like that the character has always had. It's funny, for as much as it seems like I'm pushing back against modern Spider-Man, every time they do something stupid, I go back and read classic stuff, and I love it. I fall in love with it all over again. Like, I'm reading the old John Romita Jr. run from the 80s with, I think, Roger Stern's the writer and Jim Mooney's the inker, and it rivals to me, it's fallen into some of the best looking Spider-Man art ever, because the way the character looks, the kinetic motion, the nature of the character, it's all represented, and I get excited. And then I look at new stuff, and it's not because I'm some old dude, because I'm like pining for shit that was out 8 years before I was born. How can I get nostalgic for something I didn't find until I was an adult because it wasn't out till I was a kid, or before I was born? So that argument falls apart. But I just really wish there was and there's some respect for the character. And McKinney90, thank you very much. I'm all about more web swinging. And I hope they bring back the final swing. That was a thematic element that was sorely missed from Spider-Man 3. Let's see. Rookie Critic, thank you very much. I've been doing a lot of watch parties lately. Finally saw for the first time Karate Kid, Jaws, Alien, Kill Bill, and their sequels. Whew! You just saw Karate Kid, Jaws, and Alien, and Kill Bill, and all the sequels. Well, I want to know what you think about them. I'll tell you what I think. I love Karate Kid. Karate Kid is, it's not a movie I really grew up with, but it's a movie I'd seen as a kid and always kind of liked, but as an adult, I like it a lot. I probably watched Karate Kid on streaming more so than most movies. There's just something I like about, thematically it's fun. I like the way it's structured. It's kind of easily digestible, and Cobra Kai kicks ass. Jaws is a great movie. I'm afraid of sharks. That is, sharks and fucking bears. If it's gonna eat me, I'm not involved. I'm not afraid of dogs, cats, horses, all that other bullshit. But something about sharks, the vulnerability of being in the water or being eaten by some creature. I'm just not about that life. Alien. I saw Alien for the first time in the last calendar year. Liked it. Prefer Aliens. Don't like the other ones, but it's a great movie. Actually, this thing I'm tapping right here is the Blu-ray disc. I was guilty of leaving it out of the case, so it's been sitting here. It's got dust on it for like the last couple of months. Kill Bill, not a fan. I love Tarantino movies, but Kill Bill is not one of the ones I dig too much. Let me know when you're doing a watch party. I can't commit to all these things and make all these promises that are going to fall through. If you catch me early enough, I can try to get involved with shit. But if you're ever having a watch party or something, let me know. I'd like to get involved. It would be nice to be on a YouTube stream that I don't have to be responsible for setting it up, having a timer, anything. Just I want to come on and talk about movies. So Rookie Critic, you know how to message me over on Twitter. And let's make something happen. Obi-Wan 27883, thank you very much. I saw Godzilla last night. I didn't hate it. I even had a good time at moments. Definitely some distracting parts, and certain things seemed to happen because plot. Plot armor seemed to be plentiful. So, from what I'm hearing from listeners in the fandom menace, it's okay. I mean, we had Jeremy who didn't like it. Obi-Wan 27883 who thinks it's okay, doesn't hate it, and then we had a gentleman earlier who really enjoyed it and saw it 4 times. Like I said, though, I'm still gonna see it. I'm gonna give it my money. Godzilla near and dear to my heart. But as you know, I'm not afraid to critique something I like. I think critiquing something you like is a sign that you truly like it because you hold it to a high standard. It's not like you're being Simon Cowell. It's more like I don't want to say Paul Abdul because that show sucked, but you get the point I'm trying to make. But I want to watch it in Obi-Wan 2783. I'll talk about it when I do see it. I'm looking forward to, it's Godzilla. It's going to be fun. I want to hear that big, that horn, that sound effect, and all that cool stuff. David Morris says, Back to the Future is so deep. Search Back to the Future Illuminati symbolism decoded. Amazing. I'll look into it for fun. I'll look into it for a lot of fun. The only thing that sucks about Back to the Future is when you watch the documentaries, Kathleen Kennedy pops up. That's all I can say. But Obi-Wan 2783, I really wish I could watch Godzilla right now and have a discussion with you guys. Like, I can't. Let's see. I think the Tom Holland Spider-Man is one-dimensional. He's just some meme machine and just a comedic character through one-liners. There isn't anything that makes him symbolic. Alpha Mar, that's a very interesting point, and I agree with you. The Spider-Man of the video game, the 2007, not 2007, excuse me, the 2017, or was it 18? The Spider-Man game for PS4. Fuck it, I can't remember dates. Sorry. I'm looking at a clock. I'm just going... Anyway, that Spider-Man game to me is the nicest blend of comedy and I guess it would be pathos, ethos, logos. Well, no, logos is logic. But, that the heaviness of Spider-Man. Remember, folks, Stan Lee co-created this character. And Stan Lee was very dramatic. Even to the day he died. I know it was sad to see him in the chair with Roy Thomas and all that stuff. He's a man, after all. But when you saw him publicly, Excelsior, you remember Stan Lee a certain way. You remember the vibrato he had. And his characters that he wrote for were so overly dramatic. And Spider-Man had these, these moral quandaries of, Herculean levels. It's like, oh my god, do I do this one thing, but I gotta save Aunt May, but I can do this. Those types of things. Spider-Man is a fun character, but he is not Deadpool. And through the internet, and look, I love the internet. It's made this channel what it is. I've met you guys through the internet. I wouldn't change anything for anything. I'm very thankful for what I have. But the internet has bastardized a lot of characters, including Spider-Man. I'm very thankful that the Raimi films came out when they did. The internet was a thing. I remember seeing the Spider-Man 2 trailer. I got an email from Sony telling me, oh, your Spider-Man 2's coming out. And I was like, oh my god, cool, I can't wait. But the social media element of these Spider-Man movies, I think the studios buy into it too much, and it kind of ruins the flicks. There's no heaviness. I don't need Christ imagery for Spider-Man, but I need to feel something. All I feel when I watch Tom Holland's Spider-Man films is that he's going to get away and live to fight another day. There's no danger. Oh, something fell on him. Oh, well, he'll get out because he's going to be in the next Avengers and stuff like that. And you knew they would make more Spider-Man movies and shit, but they put him through the ringer. Like in the first one of the most epic and serious and brutal superhero fights is from the first Spider-Man movie when he gets his face blown up by the pumpkin bomb and the Green Goblin kicks the shit out of him. And then he has that moment, that rise, he comes back. I have a father, his name is Ben Parker, and he beats the shit out of the Green Goblin and ends up winning the fight. Epic moment. We don't have any, feel-good moments, like the puff out your chest, holy shit, oh my god, Spider-Man's a hero type of thing. It's just kind of like, he's a kid in a costume, he's gonna be funny, he's gonna make some jokes, he's on his cell phone. Oh, blah, blah, blah. They made him a cartoon character. That's all they did. They made him a cartoon character with a CGI mask, and, I hate to say it, if you look at Spider-Man is a joke with emotive eyes, and that's all he is to you in mechanical web shooters. I just think you need to go back and read the books, or at least experience more of Spider-Man. The 90s cartoon does a pretty great job of the characterization of Spider-Man. And a lot of things about that. Wanderer wants to know, Jeff, how do you feel about giant/colossal squid? It doesn't bother me. I don't eat calamari. I don't know. The ocean is so vast and unknown. You won't find me going, deep diving. Am I afraid to go on a boat? No, that's silly. Like when we go to WrestleMania next year, I think we're gonna charter a boat and do a live stream, or at least film us going fishing. So Kendo, I know you're listening. You're like, that sounds sweet. Yeah, that's gonna happen, bro. And Kendo, there's a big surprise for if Wokebusters can hit a big milestone number. I got something awesome for you, Nick and Dion. So just folks, help us make that goal happen. Let's see. Oh, Obi-Wan 27. Oh, wait, hold on. Sorry. We had Albedo first. Clone Wars microseries watched together with Mauler. If Mauler would like to or make it happen, I'm always down to work with Mauler. I like the guy a lot. I actually have a commentary, Albedo, of the entire Clone Wars microseries somewhere here on the channel. American Trent 007 joined me. So he watched it as a kid. He had an interesting frame of reference. I was 15 when the show came out, or 15 or 14. It doesn't matter. But I did watch it, and we do have the entire thing as a commentary here on the channel. And we give you timestamps, so when you want to start, and it's on YouTube, so you can start the video and then listen to our commentary at the same time. But if Mauler is interested, I'm always interested to work with Mauler. I want to get back with Robot Head. He and I have discussed getting together too. I just got to make some time and figure out my scheduling. Let's see. The train scene from Spider-Man 2 is epic, but 3 is still the best. LOL emo Pete for life, Jeff. Well, thank you, Anakin Soyo. Spider-Man 3 does have great moments. There's an Instagram account I follow that is nothing but deleted scenes from Spider-Man 3, and there's a fantastic movie somewhere in there. That would be, if I had unlimited funds and licensing, I would go back and CGI and finish Spider-Man 3, the other cut, and then release that for the fuck of it. But I wouldn't cut corners. I'd go back and make sure the CGI was to the standards of the film so it all matched. I know there's a great movie in there. That's all I can say. Let's see. Obi-Wan 2783, thank you very, very much again. Jeff, there's a moment in Godzilla movie that I was like, Godzilla should have led with this. When you watch it, see if you notice it too. Then they didn't do it because plot drama and wanted more than a 30-minute movie. I will. Let me take a screenshot of this, too, so I don't forget to think about this. There we go. I'm trying to consume a lot of the Godzilla stuff out there, Obi-Wan, especially, I gave him a shout-out last night on the show, but Midnight's Edge review of the Godzilla legacy. They start with the beginning, and they move through the new film that's about to be out, or is out now. Very good stuff. If you guys want something to watch, check it out later today. I highly recommend it. But, I'm hearing better things about Godzilla than I am, obviously, Dark Phoenix. Dark Phoenix is kind of an embarrassment at this point. I don't know how 2019 is going to be remembered in terms of film. Avengers was a triumph. It worked. Captain Marvel, not so much. It made money, but it wasn't very good. But Mark Hamill knows the truth behind that. John Wick, to me, is the best movie I've seen this year. It was everything I wanted it to be, and more than I thought I needed it to be. You know what I'm saying? Like, it was everything I needed it to be, and more than I knew I wanted it to be. It was fantastic. Loved it. Godzilla's, seems to be in the middle. I will check it out. Dark Phoenix is whatever. But Star Wars, the year could end on a interesting note. All I can say is that this channel is going to get huge, the build up to Star Wars Episode 9, because there's going to be so much stuff that comes out. And next year is going to be even bigger in terms of the aftermath of the film. Because the Phantom Menace isn't just going to evaporate after Star Wars Episode 9. That's what people think, and that's not the case. We love what we do, and you guys love what we do, so we're just going to keep on doing it. But Episode 9, but 2019 in general, it looks like it's going to be the year of big movies that didn't. Detective Pikachu was not a flop. Now, I thought Detective Pikachu was going to come out and dethrone Avengers and make $500 million. I was wrong. I didn't think I said it publicly, but I just thought in my mind, man, Detective Pikachu's going to be the shit. Godzilla is underperforming. Hell, Disney's not immune to it either. Dumbo was a failure. Now, I'm not Nostradamus, but I don't know how Spider-Man's going to perform. Ant-Man and the Wasp wasn't, this huge hit after... I mean, it wasn't a failure at all, by any means. But Ant-Man and the Wasp came and went. Maybe it was because of what the characters are. But, like I said, I think a lot of people are over Avengers, and it'll be interesting to see how they come back with Spider-Man. But Obi-Wan 2783, I will definitely get back with you when I see the movie, and we'll talk in greater detail. If Dion has seen it, and Kendo won't be on the show because he's going to, I guess the Blues are in some big playoffs or the finals or whatever. His hockey team is kicking ass. I guess it's the Stanley Cup, right? I don't know sports. Point is, he will not be on the show tonight because he's going to something, which is cool. And Nick and Dion may have seen Godzilla. So if you guys have questions for them on Godzilla, ask away. I'll refer you to them because we'll talk about it. Action Figure Expert says, say hi to your mom for me. I don't know if that's a Back to the Future reference or you actually want me to say hi to my mom, but I'll do both. I'm cool with that. She's always happy to hear about the channel. She always asks me how my stuff's going every day. She'll call me from work sometimes. How's your stuff going? Oh, Mom, it's great. She's like, oh, I'm so excited for you. And she's a good lady. Morning Deaf, or Deef, excuse me. Superfan Adam S. Superfan Adam Shawhan's in the chat, folks. It's now a party. Secret Rebel says, this Spider-Man is not Spider-Man. It's Peter Parker Spider-Man, having no secret identity, no consequences, killed it for me. Not liking this Spider-Man. I'm not going to see Far From Home. Don't. Remember, folks, you have to make up your own mind and all that stuff. But I think Secret Rebel, you make an interesting point about, the secret identity. It's not really Spider-Man. It's not. I wish Kevin Feige and crew wouldn't just try to replicate Iron Man. Spider-Man's not Iron Man, and Spider-Man's not going to make as much money as Iron Man movies because Iron Man's true to the character. Spider-Man's not true to the character. It's harder and harder for me to support new Spider-Man shit. Like, I'll admit I picked up this Japanese import figure, but I'm not buying Marvel comic books, and I'm not picking up, Spider-Man Far From Home merchandise. I will continue my trend of picking up a Spider-Man figure from every movie that exists, so I get the Marvel Legend, but that's about it. There's just something that the lack of a secret identity pisses me off. I mean, there's so much of the Spider-Man lore is literally him juggling his life. I'd say most comic books are 50% of him not in the suit at all. Hell, some issues he puts on the suit at the last panel and then he fights in the next issue the whole thing through. But they're not bad issues. I would hate, though, as a kid, this isn't what happened to me, but, if you were to pick up an issue and there's no Spider-Man inside and then you have to wait a whole month, man, I'd hate that. Luckily, these old issues that I'm reading, it's like, well, I'll just get the next one. Okay. I'm ready to read it now. I do know David Stewart, and I like David Stewart, and he is more than welcome on the channel. I don't know if he'll ever hear this or how to contact him, but I'm a fan of what he is and what he talks about, and I'd like to have him on and talk to him. Okay, let's see where we're at. We chat jumped again. Sorry, folks. Admiral Tiberius, thank you very much. Good morning, Jeff. Good to see Good Morning Pop Culture. What do you think of the Bond 25 post I tagged you in? Is it a cursed movie? Admiral Tiberius, I do kind of think that if there is a greater force in the universe, it is telling James Bond 25 not to be. So, for those out there that don't know, there was an explosion on the Bond 25 set. Not the set, but at Pinewood Studios. And then before that, Daniel Craig broke his ankle or sprained his ankle, and the film is, kind of delayed. There's all kinds of stuff. There's a rumor that there's no script, that there's genetics involved, that Phoebe Waller-Bridge is just shit. There's all these things going on with Bond 25. Now, I would cover Bond 25 more if the views were there, but nobody seems to care about Bond on the channel. I put in, I made a James Bond video, same amount of effort, all that stuff, and nobody watched it, and I just thought, well, James Bond is not for this community, so that's fine. I'll talk about it here on shows. You can ask me questions. I'll always talk about James Bond. I don't think enough people care. Being honest, not trying to be a downer. But I do prefer, or I do think though that there's something out there that's telling us like don't make the movie. All I hope is that they don't kill James Bond, and that's it. Just don't kill the fucking guy. I don't think I could like. I tell this story and I'll tell it again. Dion and I went to go see Dark Knight Rises, and it's the part where he's flying the bomb out to sea. And I look at Dion, I'm like, I don't know if I can handle Batman dying. And if I saw James Bond die in a movie, I don't think I could handle it. I would go dark on the channel for a couple days. I don't think I could do it. That's all I can say. That's all I can say. Oh, I will look up the Back to the Future symbolism decoded. That's something I could put on while I draw today. Because here's the thing about Back to the Future. You could just play the clip. I know exactly what I'm supposed to be looking at. Same with Star Wars. I was listening to the Battle of Yavin the other day, and I was thinking to myself, this is the greatest piece of music ever to be in a film. Because not only is it epic, I can tell you everything that's happening at every point, at every instrument, what it means, what it's meant to represent. And the best part about that is where you have the big bang. It ends with silence. It's just like a little violin, like, and then the Death Star explodes. It's perfect. We're not getting into that. I'm sorry. Do you have any pre-movie, TV show era Mego Spider-Man figures? Why does everyone forget Nicholas Hammond? Well, I do not have a Mego Spider-Man because they're kind of pricey. If I'm going to get one, I either want to get a new one or one that's in really good shape. And now there's two different Mego Spider-Man suits as well. There's one with the round pattern on his webbing or the straight one that's more accurate to the show. So I do need to get that. But Nicholas Hammond was on the TV series, not the movie. I know there is a compilation of Nicholas Hammond episodes packaged as a movie. I think it's called like Spider-Man Strikes Back or something like that. And it's released in foreign markets. So I did not forget that. But I meant like actual big budget released films, like real films. I do have Spider-Man from every film. I even have the Andrew Garfield costume action figures because, well, it's Spider-Man. But let's see, is there any kind of Spider-Man figure I don't have? I don't have one from the Future Foundation, which I would love. Those are just hard. They were hard to find, and I never saw one. Future Foundation is my third favorite suit. Loved it. It was white, and black, and cool and crazy. Couldn't get enough of it. Too bad it went away quickly. I do have the oldest Spider-Man figure I have is probably the 1990s, Toy Biz Marvel Universe figure. That's what I grew up with before the Spider-Man 94 cartoon. So that's my earliest Spider-Man figure. There's one from Mego that I'd love to get. It's a die-cast figure, but I've never seen one to buy. I've just seen pictures of it in magazines, but I've never seen one for sale on eBay, in a store, anything. That's a grail item for me right there. Good morning, Cecil. What is up? Did you hear... Obi-Wan 27883, thank you very much. Did you hear the Millennium Falcon ride at Galaxy's Edge? Disney employees' reviews said the best part is the line. So sad. Seems like Star Wars Land equals a flop / dead on arrival. I have heard a lot of the things about Disney Star Wars. And it's funny, too. Like, we make these videos. We hear a lot of the negativity that people push back on us. They're like, you guys are making up this shit about Star Wars. But it just keeps coming out. Like, we can't tell Disney employees to say these things. We can't tell, these people to be disappointed. It just so happens to be that Star Wars Land is a disappointment to a lot of people. And I am laughing my ass off about these things. Let's see. Sorry, I had a message. And, I'm seeing these things and I'm kind of chuckling. There's nothing... I could do a video on the faux pas of Disney's Galaxy Edge, or Star Wars Galaxy Edge. The pricing, you can't wear your Jedi robes, you can't do this, you can't do that, your overpriced lightsabers. Like... Look, I know people like customization, but folks, if you came to me and said, Jeff, I want to get a lightsaber, which one should I get? Master replicas are cool, but if those are out of your price range, I'll give them the Black Series ones are pretty decent from Hasbro currently. I'm one of those people, if I'm going to buy something from a movie, I want to buy the one from the movie, not my own take on it. So that's what I have to say about that one. But Obi-Wan 27883, I have heard about that. I can't believe the best part would be the line. I guess because they're going to play Star Wars music and, I don't know, bring you drinks. That'd be nice. That'd be a whole different experience. The only way I would want to go to Disney's or Star Wars Galaxy's Edge is if it was free to get in. I had a pass to go to the front of the line for every ride, and all my drinks and alcohol and food were included. That's the only way I'd ever go. Did I want to go? No. Sorry, I'm not Christian Harlow. I didn't want to go. I fucking love that video so much. No, I wasn't. Whatever. That theme park isn't for me. Universal's Nintendo World, I'm there. I will wait a year till it slows down, but I gotta check it out. I love Nintendo. It's funny, the older I get, the more I love Nintendo again. Like, there was that angsty 13 to 25, 29, really. I don't really want Nintendo shit. I'm all about PlayStation and Xbox. And then I'm like, I got the Switch. It's a great system. I love it. Smash Brothers is great. They put so many great things in that little bitty console. And the funny thing is, too, Kendo brings that every time we get together. I'm like, bring your Switch. We have played it one time when we were at Horror Hound. We were drunk at the table. We played Smash Brothers, and then he put it away because we were leaving. So it wasn't, like he was like, oh, we're done. No, we just stopped playing. So Kendo, we should try one more time to play Smash Brothers together. I could beat Dion again. It was funny to watch him get pissed. Now, Obi-Wan, I don't know what they're going to do if Star Wars Galaxy's Edge actually legitimately flops. Like, if people just are like, whatever. I'm sure they'll try to blame me and Jeremy and Ethan. Oh, you guys boycotted it. We did what? I don't even live in California. I live in Ohio. Like, what? How can I raise a boycott about a movie or a theme park that's 1,000+ miles away? Like, blame somebody else. Blame your $75 beers. Blame your your $100 and something lightsabers. It's your greed. And here's the thing: we talked about Avengers Endgame and emotion. Playing at the heartstrings. I hate to say it. If you sold me the old Millennium Falcon and a Han Solo running around, he's like, "Come on, kid!" and you run onto a Millennium Falcon and fight TIE fighters. I'm getting excited thinking about it. You could probably coax a couple $100 out of me for that. But you're like, oh, Kylo Ren and Rey are going to be populating the park. Fuck those characters. I'm done with them. Like, I was done with them in 2015, and you're all done with them too. That's all I can say. Ugh. Sorry. Ohio is a mythical place. It's not real. You can't fool us. God, I wish it was mythical. I wish I didn't live here. Actually, no, I take that back. The older I get, the more I appreciate where I live, because I'm safe from natural disasters, the craziness of the politics out west, and the cost of living is decently low compared to somebody like Jesse who lives in L.A. or people who live in New York. The cost of real estate is stupid. The cost of real estate here is way cheaper. So yay Midwest. Even a new house for what you can get, like a shitty apartment in New York, that price would get you a 5-bedroom house with a fucking swimming pool where I live. So I'm all about, I'll live in the middle of nowhere. All I need, I don't live in the middle of nowhere. I live in a city, but all I need is an internet connection, and I'm connected to all you guys. What is it? Cortani's 001 says, hey, now my family lives in Dayton. Well, your family's not far from me, and I hope the tornado did not affect them. That's been the big story on the news lately, and I think the FEMA, right? They're up in Dayton right now trying to help people. So hopefully your family wasn't affected. Nobody was not dislocated? Oh, God, I can't think of the word I'm trying to think of. Hopefully everyone's safe. That's all I'm trying to say. Let's see. What's better than Stranger Things? I like Stranger Things. I got a Lego calendar, or not a Lego calendar, a Lego catalog in the mail, and there's a Stranger Things Lego set coming out, and I just was like, oh God. I didn't even realize it. I looked at the catalog and it said Netflix on the back. I'm like, oh, Stranger Things. When I see it, and it's Stranger Things. That's all I can say. Rules 1138. If the asking price for a home is $1.5 million, the house you can get around me for $1 million is ridiculous. We're talking, if you took $1 million Cincinnati home and you put it out west, we're talking like huge, like really big. $1 million home here is a big deal. A $175,000 home is a nice habitable home for a family where I live. So now I don't really want to rush out from here. It's like I can do all this shit and just come travel to meet you guys. There's, I feel like I could do a world-class bullshitter store where everyone comes in the morning and hangs out. That'd be fucking crazy. That would be insane if I owned like a store did Good Morning Pop Culture live streamed it, and people came in and hung out. That would be cool. Shit, that would be really cool, actually. Carl Fenty Jr. says, I live in New York. Pricing is ridiculous. I was in New York, 2 months ago. God, that was 2 months? That was quick. And, folks, the last couple of months of my life have just sipped on by. It's been busy. I love it, though. New York is a lot of fun. I like the culture. I mean, there's a lot of cultures there. It's definitely a place I'd want to go back to visit again real soon, but not a place that I'm ever going to live. Let's see. Admiral Tiberius says, Jeff, I saw the Joker trailer on Monday. It was so depressing and dumb. Terminator was even worse. Hobbs and Shaw was actually good, ridiculous fun. I want to love Hobbs and Shaw because I love The Rock and I'm really a big Jason Statham fan. The only concern I have is The Rock's Samoan heritage ending with Roman Reigns and all that other shit. Does the movie look fun? Yes. Am I going to give it a shot? Probably. I don't know how I feel about Joker being depressing. I mean, I feel like I'm with you about the trailer part, but I think that's going to work. And then we're going to sympathize with him while he's crazy, and then we'll have a tragic villain in the Joker. Sometimes you like to know, sometimes you don't like to know. I think, Todd Phillips is directing? I almost said Todd Bridges. Todd Bridges ain't directing shit, not even Traffic. But you have Scorsese involved somehow. I think he's a producer on the film. It could be a real film. And I know that seems kind of harsh to say, like, well, Avengers isn't a real film. But I mean, like, look, the Avengers and a lot of the MCU is what it is. It's a really good product. But, there's a lot of craftsmanship, especially on the effects and all that stuff. But there are corners cut a lot of times. And thematically, certain things are just, to get you to the next Avengers event. And it worked, and I loved it, and I bought into it, and I have no regrets, and I'm still excited. But if you ever ask me, what are my favorite films, there's not going to be an MCU flick anywhere near the top, 30. Because I keep those in a different category. I hold them to a different standard. I just feel like the Joker could be, a film, like a Dark Knight is a film, if that makes sense. Not to discredit everybody's favorites. Please don't take it that way. Just, that's how I hold certain things to a standard. So, a Cecil drunk stream from New York. Well, I met Cecil. Cecil is awesome. And next time I go back, I'm going to hang out with Cecil again. Cecil, if you're still in the chat, I will call you next time. Well, I called you this time. We met. It was cool. But I basically can't come to New York without hanging out with Cecil. People want to get cheesecake and pizza. I want to hang out with Cecil and have some drinks. That's what I want to do. What are my thoughts on Hamill's voice as the new Chucky? I'm okay with it. I'm going to see the Child's Play movie, whatever it is, the remake. Not for the channel, just a personal flick. Not really against it, because it comes out the same day as Toy Story 4. I like the concept of it's like an iSmart toy type of thing where, it gets corrupted in the programming and it uses drones to kill and all that stuff. So, personally, I'm interested in the film's premise. I like Aubrey Plaza. Mark Hamill, you can't go wrong in terms of voice acting. So, yeah. Wanderer says, well, I've got to go. Sorry I couldn't stay longer. Wanderer, thanks for joining. I believe you were on the High Council with us last night at some point. So, I mean, being on as long as you were last night and then being here today, I appreciate it. And thank you very much. Let's see. Obi-Wan2783 says, I feel like the Joker being bullied and beaten for no reason and just taking it is ruining the lore and badassery of the legacy of the Joker character to me. I see where you're coming from. I agree too, to some extent. To me, there are multiple Joker origin stories, and none of them are true, and all of them are true at the same time. Kind of like a Killing Joke, one bad day type of thing. Was the story real? Was the story not? Because maybe this movie's told in flashbacks. Maybe this is the Joker's demented mind. I almost called him the Jamoker. I was like, what is that? But maybe this is his mind coping with something. Maybe this is a story he's telling. I don't know. I do know that every time I see Joaquin Phoenix as the Joker, I think of Crispin Glover. Just in general, like that's probably his normal day. But we'll see. To me, my favorite interpretation of the Joker is the cartoon. I love Jack Nicholson. He's my favorite live-action one. But there are just certain things that, seeing him without the makeup and stuff like that, I prefer not knowing his name is Jack Napier. Well, technically in the cartoon they do call him Jack Napier, and we've seen him without the makeup and Mask of the Phantasm. But for the sake of my argument, I prefer the cartoon version, damn it. Sorry. I don't mean to ramble about that. But I get where you're coming from, Obi-Wan. There's nothing wrong with feeling that way about the Joker. There's nothing wrong with feeling about the way you guys do about anything, realistically. That's just, that's how having an opinion works. But I'm interested to see if they can salvage a DC flick starring the Joker. The early DCEU flicks, no thank you. Wonder Woman, yes. Suicide Squad, go fuck yourself. I like Justice League, it's a guilty pleasure. Aquaman all day, every day. And Shazam was a damn fun film. But I don't think I'll ever go back and watch Shazam again. I liked it. I had a good time. But I just don't ever... I got what I needed out of it. Same thing with... I'm trying to think of a movie I enjoyed that I never really need to watch again. Oh, God, that's tough off the top of my head. There are movies out there that I liked, and I was like, that was good, and I'm done. I never need to see it again. Maybe like Kingsman 2 or something. Well, no, I bought it on Blu-ray. I'll watch it again eventually. Obi-Wan2783, thank you very much. I've always pictured Joker as growing up being the kid doing super creepy pet disappearances and gag kills, being the bully with unfunny joke kills. I never really put much into what the Joker was doing as a kid. Like, you always knew... that's... Like Michael Myers in the first Halloween. You saw him kill his sister, and then he's, 23 years old. Okay. I didn't need to see the Rob Zombie iteration where you see him crying in the hospital. I want to go home, and all this shit, and all this other crap, how he loves the baby, and he's following Judith, and all this crap. Or, not Judith. Laurie, he killed Judith. All that shit, it's knowing too much about a character. The same with Solo. You didn't need to know about what Solo was doing. You just needed to know that it's Han Solo, this is his story, and we meet him at A New Hope. Like, Lucas had the... right idea that introduced him in A New Hope and not to touch him in the prequels and not ruin his character. Like, he was the most protected Star Wars character, but Disney sure as shit fucked it up right away. That was intentional. It's it's in the script, or it's in the contract. Ruin Han Solo. Okay, thank you. But your take on the Joker would work. I can see that. I never watched Gotham, so I don't know how they did it. I know the one weird redheaded kid was supposed to become the Joker. I guess if I'm going to think origins, I usually run back to Alan Moore's Killing Joke. I do like in The Mask of Phantasm, though, how he was a goon working for... Well, not Sal Valestra. One of the mob men. Maybe it was Sal Valestra. Or Chucky Saul. No, Chucky Saul got the gravestone pushed on his head. It's neither here nor there. I apologize, for the rambling. Even though Dr. Coffinails loves the ramblings. My mind is like a fish tank of pop culture. And just, everything's swimming around. I remember it all. It takes me a second to know which version I'm talking about. I know superfan Adam Shawhan loves the Joker. He has a Joker-themed office, and he has a life-size Joker stand-up, and he has title belts on him. It's a kick-ass office. That's all I can say. So we've gone longer than usual. Usually Good Morning Pop Culture is 7:45 till 10. Today it was 8:20 till 11, so you guys got a longer episode by about 30 minutes or so, maybe longer. I can't do math. I'm kind of tired. So if there's anything you guys want to ask me, go ahead and ask me before we close the stream out. I'm just letting you guys know that this stream is going to be archived over on the Good Morning Pop Culture channel in a few moments, as well as it will be available via streaming. So if you listen to us on iTunes or Stitch or anything like that, if you have a long drive ahead of you, if you want to just listen to my voice as you drive across America or whatever part of the world you live in, as my coffee cup blows in the wind, you will be able to find us there. Now, this Thursday night, we're going to have a lot of fun. We're going to play a game on the podcast. What we're going to do is we're going to take a famous movie scene. So, either it's got to be a dialogue, can't be a monologue. And we're basically going to have one of us portray a Christopher Walken and the other one be a William Shatner or some kind of easily parodyable actor. So, William Shatner does, I don't know, a soliloquy if I was a one-man show type of thing. But it's going to be a lot of fun. We have some other stuff to talk about. Obviously, it's our podcast. We have 1,000,001 things to cover. But that's going to be fun. So if you guys have any recommendations, you know how to contact us. And we're going to make this Thursday night a lot of fun. I'm going to do my damnedest to try and film a P.O. box unboxing somehow, some way soon. After this goes off, I'm going to get back to the comic book so I can get that done. It will be done. I'll be done this month before I go off to visit Jesse, so I'll make sure I get my pages out and shipped off to the printer. Printer takes about a week. And then I have a set of people that are going to help me ship out your books. So if you need to change your address, you still have time on Indiegogo. I will give you guys ample time before, because I know a lot of people wanted to change addresses. I get notifications about that all the time. So it's not too late. And what's next for the comic book? Well, just be prepared. We got something that's gonna blow your mind. Just gonna blow your mind. Now, the opinionated one, thank you very much for your super chat. How would you feel if they adapted Batman White Knight? Well, let me make sure I got the right idea of the story, because when you say White Knight, I literally think of some guy tipping a fedora. So let's see, Batman White Knight. Okay. So let's see. Batman White Knight is a comic book limited series created by Sean Murphy. The series spans 8 issues, published monthly in 2017 and 18 by DC Comics. In White Knight, the roles of Batman and the Joker are reversed, with Batman being depicted as the villain of the story, while the Joker is the hero. I think that could be interesting with the Joaquin Phoenix Joker type of situation. Maybe we'll get something like that. I want to read the story now, and I'm taking a screenshot of this because I'm going to read the story. It should be on the DC app. But I've never read it. But based on that concept alone, I like it. Now, we have to establish Robert Pattinson as Batman first. I can't believe I'm saying those fucking words. But we can't, we're actually involved in this decision-making process. But I don't believe Warner Brothers can launch Batman like that. You have to launch a very classic Batman and give us something awesome but original at the same time. And then maybe when you readapt the Joker in 5 years, do something like that. That's how I, make it different. So, yes, this was a long-ass stream. I know we're still going. That's okay. I'm having a really great time. Let's see. I don't know what the SCP universe is, Bernard. Let me just look that up real quick. Because I will... SCP universe. I don't... Is it this SCP Foundation? No, that couldn't be it. I don't know what the SCP universe is. I'll look it up. There's a YouTube video on it. SCP universe versus Thanos? Never heard of it. Makini90 says Dark Phoenixing. Alright, Makini90, what does Dark Phoenixing mean? Is it like a dance or something? Thank you, Cruel Sorrow, for that very nice compliment. You know what's funny is every time I see your screen name, I think of, was it King K. Rool and those things from Donkey Kong Country? I'm like, Cruel, K. Rool. Sorry. That's where my brain goes. I fucking love Donkey Kong video games. Yes, it's SCP Foundation. I'll look into it. I don't even know what it is. Got the Wikipedia. It's a fictional organization documented by the web-based Collaborative Fiction Project. Alright, I'll check it out. It seems like it could be fun. Let's see. Alpha Sharonima says, any chance we could see an E3 watch stream? Also, saw King of the Monsters 3 times. Might go again before Dark Phoenix evicts it from my local IMAX. I could do that on the secondary channel. That could be something we could do. I know E3 is in 4 days. I'm kind of excited. I want to know what's next for Xbox, so we'll find out. I have learned that on this channel, gaming content really doesn't get a lot of traction, but I don't want to blow you off. If, at the very least, we could talk about it on the podcast and see what's up, but I could try it on the Good Morning Pop Culture channel. That's our WCBS archive channel, so we could try a lot of experimenting things. So, we'll find out, Alpha Terranima. I'll never say no to trying to entertain you guys. You saw King of the Monster 3 times, though, so that's a good sign. I'm going to go see it. I will go see it, and we'll talk about it. So, folks, I think it is time for me to clock out. Time for me to get back to work on some other stuff. So, Thank you for watching. Hit that thumbs up on the way out. It's been a great morning. If you didn't catch last night's High Council, please do. I think you're going to enjoy it. And, well, that's it for me. So, folks, go out into the world and be excellent to each other.